Hey, what's up?
What's up?
I think I'm all SVB'd out.
So, do you want to talk about First Republic?
Oh shit.
I don't know if I sent you
Yeah.
the picture, but there was lines around the block today.
Mm. Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
They have 80% of their bank is people over the 250 FDIC limit.
Yeah. Fuck.
So, First Republic will be gone tomorrow or Monday.
What do you think about the people blaming Peter Thiel for the bank run?
I think they're idiots that don't realize what fiduciary means.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, that was a surprising one. I didn't expect that
oh, people
that way.
turning on him.
Yeah.
People,
You're like, fuck this guy. He's a better investor than us. What? Really?
yeah.
That's your argument? You're getting mad at the guy who actually did what you wish he did.
It's like day traders getting mad at the guys in Wall Street because
Yeah.
they have a Bloomberg terminal and you don't.
It is weird to hear startup people ask for a bailout. Like
The
I know
the terminology is bad, right?
it's bad. Yeah,
So here's the thing, right? Is let's say the bank gets bought out for like 70 cents on the dollar. Okay?
amazing.
So that 70 cents on the dollar is just to the stock price of the bank's holdings. So like all of its like venture capital, like all that, the equity, the share price, all of that. 70 cents on the dollar is for that, right? The Whoever buys it still needs to cover all the deposits to 100%. So like what people aren't getting is that when someone comes in and buys it for 70 cents on the dollar, they're not buying it 70 cents on the dollar for like a startup founder is not going to get 70 cents on the dollar. The startup founder is going to get everything they put in the bank. It's just going to take time. It's just going to take like 2 years potentially. So it's like I think I think people I think that everyone became a professional banker in the last 24 hours, and it's really interesting because I didn't realize that we had so many people with degrees in finance on Twitter. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, when I see interviews of guys like that Mark guy, I'm like, wow, there's a lot I don't know.
Did you see the team at SVB though?
No.
The CEO was the director at the San Francisco Fed. The
Oh, right.
CFO
Right.
The
Yeah.
CFO is the former analyst at Freddie Mac. The chief admin officer is the former CFO of Lehman at 2008. The chief risk officer is led credit ratings in 2007. The chief legal officer was general counsel at Citibank in 2008. It's like the opposite of an all-star team.
I wonder if we did that same audit at okay, so if we were gonna look at that, I wonder if we looked at the one Republic team. I imagine we'd see a similar roster.
Someone on the tweet wrote, "Are you checking these facts, or are you just repeating them without verification? Because I would check number 3." And someone reposted the picture I sent you earlier of his actual bio off of the Silicon Valley Bank securities website. And he's like, so he wasn't there when the Lehman Brothers collapsed, but the difference between being there in 2007 and 2008 isn't that bad. Isn't that much of a, distinction to be made.
I'll look up this first.
Someone wrote former chief diversity officer is the former LA Clippers owner.
Oh, Charles.
No, that's a joke. People are making jokes. The chief diversity officer is the guy who used the N-word in an interview. The owner of the LA Clippers.
I'm looking at First Republic. So this guy, so the CEO is the guy who founded it right now. Okay, so I guess let's go find whoever's in charge of their risk.
I'm just trying to buy puts on First Republic right now.
Mm.
Did you hear about that person that took $7,500 and put shorted Silicon Valley
No,
2 weeks ago?
really?
$7,500 shorted Silicon Valley 2 weeks ago. $2.1 million.
Hmm. So had
like 7,000 to 2.1 million.
So one of the chief banking officer
Here
was
we
at.
go.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one I'm seeing. After a full day of processing and research into all systems and processes, we do not have direct impact from exposure to SVB, but we are indirectly impacted by SVB severely. We don't bank there. However, a substantial amount of our merchants and tech partners have been majorly impacted. This means that our entire system and platform and inventory may need to change. If our merchant partners don't have a runway, we don't have runway. This is the contagion I was talking about all day. I don't think there's going to be a lot of businesses closing directly because of SVB. I think there's going to be a fuck ton that are closing because of others being affected.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the silver lining is that Roblox only had 3% of their cash reserves.
Yeah, Mitt Romney just tweeted about it. I hope the FDIC comes out tomorrow and is just like, we're not going to do shit, bro. Like, y'all fucked up. Except we will see a run on like all the banks. It would solve the recruiting crisis for the Army, though. Well, fintech's going to get a bump in all the in everything it does.
Well, it'll be interesting to know like how many of the companies that connect companies to other companies or provide little services here and there.
Yeah, like Rippling
are like just no longer there.
Yep.
Right. Like for all I know, like you know how I use this AI art tool, Leonardo, to make art?
Yeah.
We could find out, oh shit, they had their money there. And you're like, fuck, I really love making art with that thing.
No, I already talked to the chief marketing officer at Leonardo. They're good.
Nice. Okay, good.
Yeah, I reached out to like a lot of startups that I know, executive members or team members there, and just asked what the impact was to them, and um, I don't think any of the ones that um, really, to be honest, the ones who are impacted are the ones not many of us know about. Um,
I think it's weird that Casey left the bank on Wednesday and everything fell apart on Thursday. Casey, what do you have to say for yourself?
yeah,
Were you the only thing holding up the entire economy?
you already pulled an NFT scam on the internet.
Hold on, Casey, when did you get laid off? Wait a minute, let's track this. When did you what what day?
The 8th.
Wait,
Casey?
wait, Casey, you got laid off?
I did.
You all right, man? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I've been yeah, I'm okay. I'm day number 3 is coming to a close. you
Was
know.
it like right like just economic layoffs, or was it like you fucked up layoffs, or
No, it was economic layoffs really. And at the end of it, it's economic layoffs. You know, I had a weird position with the bank, but I was still under the umbrella of sales. And so I hesitate because I didn't have enough sales. I crushed all other metrics, but I didn't have enough sales. So c'est la vie.
Oh, so Casey, I put it to the top. Casey got laid off on the 8th of March. Since then, the entire economy has collapsed. How do we know that Casey didn't cause the economic crisis? Like, how do we know that?
that's hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
Just be like
Told you fuckers.
his inside information. He's the one who called in all the shorts and was like, "Yo, fuck this bank." Little did we know he worked at SVB.
Are you an economic hitman?
I just talk to people. That's all. I make friends. We talk about stuff. That's all.
If you don't agree with me, you're gonna have to negotiate with the people who come after me, and they're not as nice. Is that how it goes? I saw that documentary.
I love how you pull that coincidence together though. That was brilliant.
What do you mean coincidence? You're the only
I
Jenga piece.
love, I love how Mark Cuban and everyone's like 250,000 FDIC is too low, and I'm like, no, what you guys don't understand is that banks are not supposed to have 97% of their people with money over FDIC amounts. They're supposed to have 97% of their people under that amount, and only 3% is over. That's the whole reason we have the banking system the way we do. But for some reason, I don't know why, but these startup banks are not that way. Like Silicon Valley's at 97, First Republic's at 80. Like First Republic's the next on the chopping block for sure. For sure, for sure. You're in banking, Casey. Can you get me some puts on First Republic?
You got a call.
Damn it. You're Canadian. You can figure it out how to put puts on something.
Sorry, let me just take this call. Did you get your money out?
Bro, what money? Are you fucking kidding me? I live paycheck to paycheck and I have 6 figures in debt. What money?
It's funny because Casey got laid off on the 8th of March. So how do we know that he didn't cause the
I
economic
just
collapse?
saw that. I didn't hear that news. No, I
Yeah.
seriously. I mean, if Casey is no longer contributing to the GDP, no wonder the whole
Mhm.
fucking thing came down. Yeah.
That's the
100%.
Jenga piece. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think your thesis is strong, man. I'm here
hmm
for it.
hmm hmm Right.
How are you,
It's
Mike?
almost.
How are you holding up in all this insanity?
You know what? I tell people all the time. Although, like most of the folks we speak to, like are American. I'm from Toronto, and we have like different. We didn't print as much money, right? So when they talk about, look, we want to raise funding, I'm like, yo, I don't know how you guys do it out in California, but we don't have money like that. Like, we're probably,
You
our,
mean the synthetic money where it's been
yeah,
10x 5 times through the rinse cycle through 4 different companies?
we don't have that.
All
And
of a
people are
sudden,
like,
that 100 million is 10 trillion somehow,
it's crazy. And it's
and that
like,
100 million was only 1% backed anyway.
it's the reason I call the account so you want to attract funding. Because like a couple of years ago, I just noticed a bunch of people just they expected a lot of funding for not a lot of monthly recurring revenue. And so I was like, hold on, is there like a difference between how things work in the States versus here? Because folks would laugh at you if you asked them for money and you didn't make them a dollar yet. But maybe they have different rules out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the rule is they haven't caught up with us yet, so there are no rules.
Mm,
Right?
no,
Let's fucking get away with as much shenanigans as we can till they lock down on it. In fact, our shenanigans will make them lock down, but we'll already be out the door. That's the MO.
who can argue with that strategy from a
No, I
Machiavellian
mean
perspective?
if
You know,
if I had a pitch deck and I could put that in it, sure someone would fucking fund me. I'm like, look, bro, you give me 2 mil and we're gonna be out the door with 1 bill in the next 6 months here. And they're like, yeah, go.
it's
So
like,
it's
what's your
so
business
fun.
plan? We're gonna ride this shit till the wheels fall off.
Take my money. So I don't know why, but I keep getting these videos like on my Facebook reel or someplace for like those potatoes where you boil them and then you smash them on the baking tray and then you bake them and they get extra crispy. I was like, fuck, those look so good. So I decided I would finally try and make them. We have a little leftover chicken roast. So I chopped that all up and I like put it on top of the smashed potatoes. So hopefully it'll kind of bake into them and we'll have like these little like, I don't know what they'd be like, almost like latkes, little like baked potato chicken pancake kind of things. And my wife wasn't
It's
home and
like
I was pretty baked. I was like, oh, maybe I'll scramble up some eggs and put a little egg on top. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going too far. These things have to bake for 30 minutes. I'm going to fucking burn down the house. I better slow down
I
a
can
little.
see the argument for cheese, like
Yeah, and
little. Mhm.
if you put the cheese on beforehand, it's better to just
No,
drop it on
no, it's
right
you have
at
to
the
finish
end.
it.
Yeah.
Finish it on the broiler. Yeah,
Fuck
absolutely.
yeah, baby. Let's go.
hmm
Well, dude, my daughter was just at Pearson this morning.
Oh, get out!
Yeah, she was flying to
Incredible.
Logan to go visit my mom on the Cape. So
Oh no way!
my daughter and my mom are together right now on the Cape because my daughter
Oh
lives
wow!
outside of Toronto. So
Wow! Wow! Yeah, I'm in Hamilton, so I'm about 45 minutes
no,
away.
I know Hamilton. No, that's where my ex-wife is from. My daughter's home.
Oh, get out!
Yeah.
Wow.
Now Michaela's in Elmira.
Okay. Yes.
Ooh, the Elmira Festival with the maple syrup. Hells yes.
Let's
What do you
go.
what do you
Yeah,
know
she's in
about Elmira?
Quakerville or whatever the fuck, huh? It's crazy
Yeah.
out there.
What do you know about Elmira?
I love Elmira. They have the best maple syrup.
How do you know about Elmira?
Maple syrup.
You're such an
What do you mean?
Oakville.
It's right outside of Kitchener, bro. What do you mean you don't? How can you not know about Elmira?
I'm from Scarborough. We don't have maple syrup. We have Aunt Jemima. It's different.
Yeah. Okay. So
Man.
so my ex-wife's not from Hamilton. She's from Kitchener. I'm not gonna lie, but
Hey, Kitchener
but
Waterloo is one of
yeah.
the most
K
prolific places on the planet.
KW baby.
Hmm. My cousins are from out there, and they worked at RIM and built their career starting
They
out there.
worked at Justin Bieber's monkey farm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Didn't
You
he
know
have a monkey? He
the
had a
amount
fucking
of people that got their start at RIM is astonishing. They're like 20 years old now, and they're like executives and blah blah blah. But they cut their teeth at BlackBerry. Even the
at Rim.
cryptographers.
You know, it's
Hmm.
amazing. You can say Rim with me, and I'll actually know what you're talking about. Most people probably
Yeah, it's
wouldn't.
weird, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They had a resurgence recently with John Chen.
Mm.
They had like a cybersecurity play or something, and then sold. But
So where is everyone? What's going on?
oh, I think they're listening to the Silicon Valley Investment Bank
Oh my
space.
god!
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
What
like,
hell, dude? I advised a friend earlier yesterday.
mhm.
I did not financial advice, but he posted a tweet, and then I privately DM'd him and said, of course, never financial advice, and if I were you, kind of thing.
Mhm.
He had 30 grand in USDT, and he was looking at the Uniswap. He could have gotten 36K in
Mm.
USDC on the exchange. He's like,
Wow.
should I? Because it was like under 90 cents a dollar.
Oh yes, because of the DPEG, right?
So he was like, should I swap my USDT for USDC while it's depegged? Like move into USDC at 89 cents. He's like, I got 30K in because he had all his money in USDT on the sideline. He's like, oh, snap.
Wow.
And he posted the tweet with like the swap, and it was like 30K USDT is 36K USDC. And I was like, get out. So I DM'd him. I was like, man, crypto.com helped the US government test like business to business payment settlements as part of a pilot on the
Hmm.
Visa network using USDC.
Wow.
It's integral to the fucking CBDC strategy for the United States
You're
at like the
kidding me.
highest banking levels. It's not going to fucking go to zero. And it's one of the few ones that actually does get audited and does show proof of reserves. And I I'd take half of it. I'd take 15K and move it over. He was like, bet. I don't know if he that was my advice. It's like
Wow.
if you can make a quick $3,000, yeah. And who knows, right? I mean, it could go to zero and he could lose its 15K too. I guess that's why it was at 90 cents.
Yeah, I've been looking at I've been listening to that Mark Cohodes guy, and so I've been looking into Signet with Signature Bank.
It's actually not two words.
Hmm.
A signet is like an insignia or something. Like they didn't make it
Hmm.
out of
Hmm.
the word network. Yeah, like I think they actually meant it sort of as its intact meaning, signet. Just saying. Because you were kind of mentioning it, and I think maybe you hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah, I'm just finding out about it now. And then I was looking at First Republic as well. Hey Pete, what's going on? What time is it over there?
It
It
is
is 12:30.
correct. You got it.
Yeah, got it. It only took me
GM,
1 year.
Peter. Just getting up. Yeah, 3:30 here. I'm just getting up too. Just kidding.
I've been up for a while
Not
now,
really.
but I've been watching The Sopranos, and there was no Syndicate space open, so I figured, fuck Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why would you leave The Sopranos for a non-syndicate space, right? That makes no sense.
Exactly. I am fucking hooked on this show, man. And like, I'm on the last episode of season 2. Things played out in a way that were just like more amazing than I could have expected them to, and I'm just kind of like, what the fuck, man? Like, how is the
Yes,
writing so good? How is it
I
so
am
good?
so envious of you because you get to watch it for the first time. You know, I
Yeah,
should watch
I'm
that
making
again.
sure to make it a point just to rub it in your face, Michael.
Oh man, it's so good. So what's the latest thing that happened?
So wait, I'm assuming Mentis has watched it, or at least if he hasn't watched it, he doesn't care.
I've watched enough of it to know I don't care about spoilers anymore.
Okay. Richie
Like
just
I'll
got
never
off
go back and
by.
finish watching it. I sort of, it's not that there was anything wrong with it. I just sort of moved on and I don't remember what was happening, and it's fine. I don't mind. You know?
Yeah, it happens with shows, right? So Richie got offed by Tony's sister. I expected it to be offed by Tony, right? Like, you know, a hit job kind of thing, whatever. Uh, the way the show set me up to expect that, you know, like make me hate the dude and just be like, oh, I want this guy to get whacked, you know? And then it's actually like, no, it's just his relationship, like his partner that offs him. Holy shit, amazing.
You mean Richie April
I think so, yeah. You know, the
in the
fucking,
kitchen?
the dude banging Tony's sister.
Yeah, so it happens in the kitchen, right?
Yeah. Where he hits her and then
Uh
she just fucking shoots him because fuck you, basically.
huh.
And like right after Tony's like, get
It's
it
so
done, you know?
funny. It's so funny because in that scene, she becomes, even though she's like hated by Tony, and so like we're supposed to hate her by extension. You know what I mean? In a way, it's like she she kind of becomes uh like almost like a real. You don't want to call it say feminist because it's too constricting, but you know what I mean? Like she's like,
Yep.
"Oh, you hit me? I'm gonna shoot you."
Yes, it's fucking beautiful. There's so many layers to that, but it's just
Yeah,
it
yeah.
literally set me up to not expect that like that.
Is
The
it?
way they played it off as well, it was just like a casual thing that happens. It was like, okay, what the fuck? Instead of
But
making like a
it's
big
kind
deal
of
out
like
of the moment.
maybe it's like she. It's not that she was like a feminist, but it's like she reclaimed her power. She was like,
Mhm.
"Fuck this."
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, he's banging her with a gun to her head, right? That kind of thing. And it's like, shit, I should have seen it coming. Fucking hell, the writing in the show is so damn good.
You're the boss. You're the boss. Why you keep saying that?
Yes. See, fuck. Oh, man.
Hey Casey, how's it
Hey
going?
guys, I'm pretty nervous to talk.
Casey,
Yes,
Casey,
Mantis.
bro, I am literally just hearing about your getting laid off. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, no, I didn't really
Anyway,
like.
moving on. My condolences.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
look at
no,
all
it's
the time you have
okay.
to make all this money now. Right? Yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I told some people like close core kind of knows what's going on, but I didn't really
Well, I mean,
splash it around.
you probably told all the people who care.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, here's the thing, Peter. Did you hear the conspiracy from the other space that Casey's layoff it collapsed the U.S. economy?
It makes sense.
Right on the 8th.
Yeah, I said the thesis is strong, 100%. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Jenga. Yep. You were the only thing holding
I
everything
mean,
up.
can you imagine?
All
Think
I'm
of all
hearing
the
is
foreign
whatever KC
investments
gets
from
into
Europe
next.
and Asia, pump being yeah, exactly. They're all waiting, and as soon as they see he's moving
Yeah, we're
Casey,
into the
waiting. We're waiting.
metaverse, yeah.
Casey, how do you feel about a job with Binance? Would you?
He's working for himself now.
You just imagine. Okay, just for a second, could you
I mean,
just
come on,
imagine
man.
that?
Let's
Like,
turn the
Michael's
cranks,
already got
bro.
the job lined up. He's just waiting, and there's KC. You know?
It's like there's
Wait, what?
CZ and there's KC, and KC's translating what CZ means in English. Okay, what he means is that
You mean Ebonglish?
English. Jesus
it
Christ.
translates to New Hampshire.
I
KC,
just made that word up. That's
wherever you
pretty
sign up
fucking
next,
good.
though. I was just
Ebonglish?
going to say,
Pretty good.
wherever KC signs up next, I'm investing in. That's all I'm hearing. You know?
Uh, uh,
Dude, how do we invest in spatial?
That's a good question.
Like how do you get in
Good
on this
question.
movement? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to buy sandbox fucking token
Right.
because I want to get into the metaverse. Like I want to invest in the things that I'm investing my time and energy into making successful too. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you profit from the success spatial's going to have? Other than, I guess,
See,
building in spatial.
dude, I don't. When you say the success, I know it's gonna have. Oh, man, I feel like we're.
I swear to God, Casey, you're turning your back on spatial. It's a recorded space, you know.
I'm just saying.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
these messages are
fucking
going out.
9 out of 10 startups are going to fail or blah blah blah, and like where's MySpace now? And yeah, there's a whole conversation we can just fast forward over, Casey. I understand.
I know. I need to get. I didn't know how to phrase it. Like we're one prompt away from a upgraded metaverse. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, seriously, did you see the latest thing I tweeted from Blockade Labs, the people who do those skyboxes?
Yo, that blockade shit is
No,
scary.
hang on. So 2 days ago, they put out a tweet where they showed that you can do in painting in their 3D worlds. So you can take one of their images and mask an area and put in a new prompt, and it'll put something new into the image where
It's
you
at the
want it.
top.
Yeah, and then just yesterday, they posted out where now you can start with an empty space, and it's like just like when you're in spatial before you load your world kind of thing, and you can literally fucking draw shapes and then give it a prompt and it'll make something. So like draw a door, like a super shitty door, and it'll know you want a door there. And so you'll be able to just give it a design and it'll make this whole world that matches whatever, like the design you give it. I was like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, that's the one. The Scribble preprocessor takes a flat sketch and sends it to our skybox to return an image from a prompt. And pretty soon then it's just going to be interpreting into the 3D meshes, right? We're so close, yeah. But then we'll want to upload them into spatial, Casey. That's the point, right? We'll put those in Unity and fucking pump them out to spatial or Monoverse or whoever the goddamn Anyverse, I guess, from Unity, right? Isn't that kind of the idea?
I'm concerned that Casey is bearish on spatial because he spent more time in spatial than a lot of people I know. What do you know, Casey? What do you
Why
know?
are you bearish? Why are you fudding the spatial bags, man?
You know
Come on,
something
bro.
for sure.
Yo, this guy's a short. Watch out.
I'm just saying that.
Give us the insider trading.
I'm just saying to say that it's gonna make the cut. I'm.
Let me rephrase that. If I'm backing the horse, I'm gonna bet on it.
Probably as good as bet as any. I mean, what's weird to me is that lately Voxel has been getting a lot of hype
How
and
dare
push.
you?
Voxel.
I thought
Wait, I know what
Voxel was
happened.
shit.
I know what
So
happened.
that guy
And
convinced you, huh?
Second Life
Yeah, he got in
slightly
his
backed
head,
up.
Michael. He
And
got in his head.
what about Second Life,
Conversation
guys?
poisoned you. Second Life?
I didn't realize that they had such a plethora of plugins, and then it's
Second Life, you mean?
the
Or
Voxel.
Sandbox?
Voxel's kind of
Voxel.
like Linux to OS. It's very like raw build is how I kind of see it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like low dimensional Tron right now.
No, it's Unreal Engine 5, Unity, Blender.
Oh yeah.
It's all.
Do you have any links
Say again.
to do you have any links to like the most advanced voxel you've seen?
I did go into hip hop, so I thought his was
That's a
pretty
good
weak.
question, Mike.
What was the other
Like
one?
when I like, what are the go-tos when you want to showcase a metaverse to people?
Good
Whose
question.
spaces do you?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
Who's the high watermark? Because the guy was talking about how he likes voxel not only because he believes that he can own that which he creates, which is not available on spatial to the extent that he wants. He actually explained like, why would I create a new plot of land somewhere where I don't own that plot of land? And I felt that argument.
You guys know Anotai?
No.
No.
What, who now?
He makes like the like the Unity spatial worlds, like one of that most popular ones that's like that spiritual one of the first ones that had the hotspots. I mean, like the teleporters and stuff. I'll go find one of those things. I'll pin it.
He got into your ear, didn't he? Like a little earworm, eh, Casey? How
He
quickly you
really
turn your
did.
back on spatial.
It's
Say it ain't
funny
so.
because as soon as he was being neg on spatial, right, I'm thinking, okay, there's two possibilities here. Spatial did something wrong, or someone got in his ear with something else. And as soon as I thought that second thought, I knew exactly who as well. You know what I mean? And then he goes
Yeah.
and says the word voxel. And I'm like, yep,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yep.
The dark side.
All right, so here's my actual point. So I put in the comments below a link to the Voxel homepage. And right off the bat, you can see that it's not the clunky funky. It's pretty honed. They got a GTA thing going, whatever. Their platform was designed to be gamified and expanded on. Spatial is working with something that wasn't necessarily initially designed for it, but they're recrafting it and making it work.
And how does it work? Do you have to buy land and then build on it?
Oh, I don't believe so, but I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But as a framework going forward, I can imagine over time that initial structure being kind of hard to overcome. Like,
Okay, I'm just going to ask you a quick, brain fart. Quick question here. Do you think that the whole notion of buying and selling an asset in one of these metaverses, you know, in the form of land, that kind of thing, when you think about the NFT community in general, is more valuable and appealing to the larger scale audience that will just want to be able to jump in and create something?
are you asking me?
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
You just want to do yoga online? Oh, sorry, someone else talking?
can you hear me?
No, I can hear you
Can you
now,
hear
but
me, Casey?
my connection's so shitty.
No, it's all
I keep
good. I'm just fucking
literally.
with you.
I don't know
I'm
people are
just fucking
talking.
with you. Sorry, I knew you could hear. Anyways, I always thought it was stupid. I never saw a lot of purpose in it because it was so challenging for the standard person to actually get in and use. So if the question is, do I believe that it'll lead to a mass consumption? No, definitely not. The whole metaverse as a screen avatar concept is not user friendly. Not really. Even spatial.
Why did you have to say it's screen avatar concept? I really felt that one in
It's
my heart.
right. You know what I mean? Like that's like now.
But that's how Doom was created.
I love Doom. That was my one of my
Yeah.
yeah. You know, I'm a big fan, but it's I think where we're gonna see a leap in the 3D assets is gonna be more in the augmented side. Like there's some pretty cool shit out there where you can have
But
like a jacket and point it at somebody and it looks like they're actually wearing the jacket and it moves around with them and they can wear a silly hat or whatever.
yeah, imagine going to any retail shop or whatever, or
Yes,
clothing
thank
shop,
you.
local one,
Yeah.
and be like, hey, why don't we digitize some of your merchandise and people can try it on in the store? And they're like, what?
Yep.
See, I'm not saying I'm bullish on spatial specifically, but what sold me on it as yeah, I didn't spend any money on it, but like what sold me on the idea of metaverse, spatial, that kind of thing, was when I had that interaction with you, KC, in your spatial, right? When I jumped in and you were showing me around this world that you created, this, well, like, you know, you brought all this stuff in, you started setting up all the art and stuff, like for a gallery purpose. We're in there, I'm sitting on my laptop, and it took me no effort to jump in from Twitter to spatial. Like, I didn't have to really create a new account or anything. I could just jump in. You know, there's me with my like headset and mic, And we're in there, we're talking, I'm looking around this space, and I'm like, dude, this is cool, like, awesome, you know? That was what got me. It was that ease of use, that
But
fluidity, right?
there's
I think that's where we need to be focusing
but there's
on some sense if we want to look at what's going to
So
work out.
here in the moment, yes,
you guys
that's
really keep
definitely their edge. That's their edge here in the moment. Yeah, for sure. How many times have you been back to that spatial?
How many times have you invited me?
It's your spatial. I made it for you. How many times have you even
No,
used
no, 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 no,
spatial?
no, no, no. This was your spatial, dude.
Oh, oh. Well, I mean, like, how many times have you gone on to spatial since then?
To be honest, there hasn't been many situations where I felt the need. I've seen some people, like I've known certain people that were going to do like a launch party or
Mm-hmm.
something like that within Spatial, but then they cancelled it, and I'm like, why? Like this would have been a fun experience. I would have chucked my VR headset on, you know, like gone into the space and fucking like hung out with people, you know, it would have been cool.
It is
But
super
instead,
cool.
they kind of like they just, yeah,
It
that's what I mean. But
is.
then instead, they kind of just like bailed on it
Well,
or
but
something,
here's
you
the
know, and I'm
thing,
like,
though. Look at the
oh
foot
man,
traffic. You got a bunch of little kids on Roblox leading the charge for foot traffic. And all the other metaverses have got really light foot traffic, like really light. It's still too much of a hassle. It's still too much like, oh, you want to play a video game? I guess so. You know, it's like, it still got the wrong vibe to it until it's more like I don't understand why some of the augmented games haven't caught on more. Dude, they got games that are kind of low poly, but they can have monsters charging through your living room while you're shooting them and shit. Like, there's cool augmented games out there, but even that's not really catching on. So, in terms of like spatial being like a really good bet, the whole environment's too fluid. There's too much tech movement. There's too much going on to really like say this horse will make it. I don't know. It looks pretty good here in the moment. I I talk more about spatial than any other metaverse by far. You know, I'm a fan now, but next month,
yeah, true. Did you say too fluid though? See, for me, the one that's going to stick around in this current market where we have all this bullshit going on, right? Like we don't really know because it's always going to be like very specific use case type things and whatever, you know. So we're going to be picking at what certain people and individuals are going to be. You know, I like this metaverse platform because it allows me to do this or allows me to do that. But I think we should be looking at which one allows you the most fluid transition. The transition aspect is probably the most important for the end user because that's kind of a you know, like you,
so we're seeing that. We're starting to
yeah,
see
you
that
know,
with the avatars. The avatars being able to
like
go.
don't make it complicated, make it fun, but don't make it too complicated for the end user. Give the developers all the tools they want, right? But
But
like for the end
but again,
user, for the people jumping in, just like make it fun,
it's
make it
it's an
easy.
interesting thing though because like um if Casey brings up a good point, which is that nobody's really using it, right? And that doesn't mean they're good or bad people. It just hasn't gotten that adoption yet. Now, will the Unity bring that? Maybe. Maybe if you can, because I hooked up my controller to my computer and started moving around Unity.
Yeah.
Spatial, and that was kind of fun, right? But no, look,
Okay. Okay.
If Casey, who's underpinning the entire U.S. economy, has concerns, you know, it gives me pause. Let's say,
Yeah, for sure. Now let's imagine, for example,
Casey, why do
games
you
like
have to
Call
take
of
the
Duty.
whole economy with you? By the way,
Hey, we're
you
talking
know,
about metaverse. Don't bring my
sorry.
job into this. Come on.
I'd be busy, but okay, imagine games like Call of Duty, right? You know, they're on a specific platform, they're on this thing. But what if you could link that into the metaverse? You can make it a seamless experience where you know you're on your browser, and they can load this website up, and now it's going to pull you into this thing instead of having to launch a program. You know, you want to play it in this way, you can play it on your console, you can play it on your PC, and that kind of thing, right? I feel like that's where the metaverse is kind of like moving towards. And I use Call of Duty as a reference point here because, like, what other fucking shooter game that's literally doing the exact same shit year after year can, like, get by? Yeah, I mean, I know there's FIFA because of like the sports fanatics, but like Call of Duty is the most like franchise shooter. Like, literally, there's a new Call of Duty game every year, right? Go ahead, Mentis. Mantis.
Thanks, mate. I think if metaverse were going to be widely adopted in that immersive sense, everyone would already be playing video games. Like yeah, I feel like it's just not for everyone. What I do think, though, we will see significant adoption of metaverses in terms of like the full immersive ones, not augmented reality, but it's the fact that it can extend into that too, but from a corporate perspective with training and enablement and onboarding, and allowing people to practice and learn and perfect skills before they actually have to apply them in the real world. And that then maps over in an AR context, because then they can also have those instructions available to them on the job, in the field, or at their desk. Like they're trying to do something in Salesforce, right? And they could have an AR layer that's actually showing them how to do shit. I mean, that's a bad example, but more for I guess production workers or people out in the field and those sorts of things. What was it? Who was it? Accenture bought 60,000 headsets late last year, the new Quest headsets. And the fact that Microsoft is making a higher end corporate headset and they haven't made another retail one is a big indicator that that's the direction things are moving. I think. Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, dude, totally. And here's what I really like about the spatial experience. It's a great platform to learn on. It's a path to
It's the kiddie pool.
Yeah. It's a great place to start, man. Hard to drown. But like I can look at other projects, metaverses, and be like, oh, I see where your seams aren't matching. Oh, I can see where you're off on your scale a little bit. Oh, you didn't center up your skybox. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yeah, you learn a lot. Also, hello AM. Hello Lagertha. Good evening. It's almost midnight for me.
So is in that case, Casey, though, you want to remain platform agnostic as a business, right? That's kind of the
Yeah, I
strategy.
want to
Like
skate.
you're
Yeah,
selling
I
you're
want to
selling
get the tools
pickaxes.
of
You don't
all of
care
them.
what the hell they're going to go mine with them.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. There are multiple platforms. Any
Like, hey,
horse
I'll
has
help
got
you
a
build your fucking
chance.
whatever for wherever, man. Like,
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
and then I kind of feel like it all comes back to Blender then, like as that platform that's the
Blender,
easiest to
Unity,
use,
and
that's the lowest cost, that has the largest community development. But you could go
but
Unity
really,
or
you have to
Unreal
say
from
you have
Blender.
to say, you have to say Unreal, and really, like, from what I can take out of it, like Unreal, the learning curve is steeper, harder, it's more clumsy to use, but once you've got it, you can do so much more, so much faster. It's just the machinery behind it as the expense. So, yeesh.
But if someone wants to pay you to build something for Unity because it has to go into some metaverse platform that's built on it's on Unreal, then yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I think the tech is awesome. And I keep on trying to peer through the veil and the mist. Like, wow, the fuck is this going
Oh,
to really.
Casey,
Yeah.
you see, I pinned up top that's Meta Love Island. That's one of Anatai's spatial spaces, but he's made some of the more popular ones that have come out since the SDK.
Dude, I've been talking about RVT for so long.
So so I'm in the DMs with him, and he's happy to pick up some commission work if there's specific projects where we need his skills.
Sweet. Dude, Elevator Man. Rise of the Elevator Man. Fuck yeah. No, wait, what are they? Elevator, escalator.
But
Like
even in that
those
one,
is
he has this cool little cruise boat. It's Metal Love Island, and you have this little 2-seater water boat, and you can go like teleport out onto it and then like ride around and stuff. It's just he's doing some cool stuff.
yeah. He's so nice, dude. He's so nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And he's like
So funny.
day he's lighting up one of his spaces, chilling out in there, which is pretty cool.
Have you looked at his chairs? The chairs that he makes?
Oh, this is the chairs guy?
This is the chairs guy. Yep.
The
Yep.
chair
Yeah.
guy.
I was watching one of his videos recently on how he makes them, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like he'll take like a cylinder and use that as a collision object to like carve out the underneath between the legs, if that makes sense. So he'll have like a cube, and then he'll basically like run a column through it, but at the bottom, and then have that arch of the column actually be the negative space, like it carves out that part of the cube to make the rounded legs, that kind of stuff. It's really clever.
Hey, Casey, how was Ninja's space? He had like almost 100 people in there.
Oh my god, yeah, he got just at or over 100 people at one point. I eventually I'm like, oh,
So people are still interested in NFTs? Is that what you're telling me?
well, yes, yes.
What was the vibe? What was the general vibe?
General vibe,
Yeah, the vibe. You know,
the
like with a lot of
vibe.
eyes. Yeah, with a lot
What's
of
the
eyes.
vibe, man?
What's a vibe? Like how Dr. Carey would say vibe.
So, so Ninja's approaching it on the community angle. Let's bring all the OGs together.
Okay.
Let's bring all the OGs together. Find out where they're at, where they've been.
Okay.
It's been 2 years. How you doing? This is. I
What happened
remember
to
when it
Frank?
was
Oh, you didn't hear
this.
about Frank? You know, that kind of thing.
Kind of. They're all active projects, right? They're all the survivors. And so he's gathering up all the survivor OGs that are still smashing away. The vibe is very like.
How are those projects that are in the room? Because I imagine it's a bunch of founders with thousands of things, right?
I mean, it was Wise Fellas,
Mm-hmm.
Crypto Jesus, and Solon Labs.
Mm-hmm.
CJ. Oh, if you don't know
Yeah.
about Solon, I'd recommend checking it out. CJ's
I like it.
a wizard. It's
Is
pretty
that
amazing.
like Solon, like Plato's Timaeus? That's Solon?
And so, what's his dev's name? Ben Butel. Shit, I'm fucking it up. What's his name?
In Plato's Timaeus, this guy Solon goes for a trip to Egypt, and he's trying to figure out how old the Earth is by running back. Like, okay, my father was this, and his father was that, and the Egyptians are like, Solon, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your civilization has been washed away multiple times. What the fuck could you know about the age of the Earth? So that's why I mentioned that. I wonder if there's a connection.
Who knows? It's CJ. He's strangely brilliant. I'll say it that way. He's amazing. He's been
He's like
around
an applied
forever.
pro.
He's one of the original Bitcoin maxis. He was there like hustling Bitcoin on the street when it first came out.
Why do you have to explain it like it's crack cocaine? He's
Because
like
I
Jay-Z
mean,
and he got
dude,
out
because
of the
that just
game.
to set the
Because
disparity
it
between
says volumes. Because it says volumes about CJ. That's why.
yeah, the shortest way I can think of.
He's OD Gen.
Nice.
So if he's OG, like, do you know how he feels about ordinals? I'm interested to see how the people who have created projects are, how they handle that ordinal question.
Haven't had a chance to ask him yet. Second I do, I will though. But Ninja was running a very like up hype space, giveaways, lots of look forward to this. We're doing that. He's launching his radio show, and
Oh
so
yeah.
he's going for the groundswell, you know. Dude, he had 100 people. I don't know, man.
Look, it's
I'm
not what you say; it's how you say it. I love you. You know that.
okay.
Okay, I can't tell if you're just tired of all of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm exhausted. It's like
Yeah, you're
midnight
like,
here too.
spatial. Yeah, I remember that. That's a hard rat here. Spatial. It's like spatial is like insurance sales. I was like, yeah, I tried that once. Did do it. I knocked on 200 doors, and all I got was a bunch of chargebacks. You know.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm on a project that's partnering with Solon Labs to do some of the sort of AMM stuff on the back end through the API to manage part of the treasury for the DAO.
Oh no shit. Really?
That's cool stuff.
Why wouldn't
Oof.
you use the Silicon Valley Bank? I heard it's a pretty popular place to
Dude.
put your money.
So wait, so their system, if I gleaned it correctly, uses similar to how we'd have a checking and savings account. They have a two account system with a multi-sig wallet in case of theft or loss of seed phrase.
I'm not sure exactly what the most current offering is. They're continuing to like innovate the hell on top of out of everything they've already built. They've sort of had some of the tech around the API and the integrations for partners and other projects. That was like that first NFT they sold, or if it wasn't their first or whatever. But there's an NFT that basically gives you access to the API to use some of their sales, like market intelligence on the back end. So that's what I know. But the stuff you're sounding about sounds awesome. It sounds like a really good way to do it.
Hey, AM, how's it going? Are you gonna take a picture for us or sing a song?
Nope.
Ah, we never heard. And how come we've never heard Anna Mariah karaoke? What the fuck?
Yeah, I explained that in the karaoke space the other day, or in Casey's drinking space the other day, I should say.
I don't remember you being there.
Oh my god, that tracks.
That says a lot,
Yeah, that
doesn't it?
fucking tracks, 100%. No, like I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I'm self-conscious. Look, I can barely like speak properly in spaces. Like I'm just fucking saying. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, you won't have to really speak much. You'll just have to gesture as the new curator for this California thing. So you don't really need to speak as much. You just need to point and,
Oh my god, hilarious. Good news, you guys. I'm glad you guys are here. For me, good news. Yeah, I'm tethering myself from my situation. So I only have 2 jobs that I promised that I was going to do, and that's it. And I'm on to a different job situation. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yep.
So you've officially broke away from that situation, that entanglement,
Yeah.
let's say?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did that feel? That's been something in your side for almost as long as I've known you.
Freedom. There you go. There's my karaoke. Freedom. It feels amazing.
What happened? What catalyzed the change?
Everything is so legal here. You know what I mean? As she put her foot down, and she's been on her very good behavior for a while, and she lost it like probably maybe 3 weeks ago on on the group, whatever. It was not pretty at work. You know what I mean? And it was just, I think it reminded
that you would have angry people around cannabis. You know what I mean? You're
well,
like, why don't you just have this before we have a meeting?
chill out. I know. So, but yeah, she doesn't smoke, right? She doesn't. doesn't do marijuana. That's the problem too. So that anyway, so she was like, she's lost her fucking mind again, and it was the last straw for a bunch of us. And we were just like, you know what, this is it. Like, let's make a, we had an opportunity presented itself, and we took it. So we out.
Hold on, how many people did you take with you?
Well, I didn't personally. It wasn't me personally.
I know.
Like,
But you're very influential,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Jeez. Wow, that's many pounds a day.
It's like I would say a good fourth of the team starting a new team.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like cannabis beefs?
It's very scandalous.
Can you imagine the cannabis beefs? Yo, bro.
It's actually quite scandalous.
Shut up.
No, it is. Yeah, a little bit. But it's also how the business is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is.
Sounds like season 1 of a show.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm very excited.
Are you going to do a TV show now?
I can't say yes, but I feel like drifted. I feel like I've drifted into a current that is favorable to me. That's how I feel. So, maybe not, maybe not, but at least it's a place where I could at least present my ideas. Instead of, I haven't been in a place where, just the other week. I'm sorry. I see a hand up though. I feel weird talking with a hand up. Is it a question? No.
No. So, hi, by the way, Anne-Marie. I think good to see you again. So I'm in the background trying to get some work done today for my wife with regards to my business, because she's decided she's going to take over the redo of the website. And so she sent me this Google Doc with like a dozen things in it that she wants me to document about the business. And I might occasionally interrupt to just sort of ask a random sporadic question, which is why my hand was up. But I don't need you to like stop in the middle of like a single thread or a single point, certainly. So I'm trying to figure out how I can signal that I want to talk, but then maybe put my hand down so you feel comfortable to keep talking.
Yeah, that's yeah, for me it's like the opposite. I'm like, oh no, somebody wants to ask a question. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I was thinking about sort of the different relationships that my business has, and one of them is business to business, making innovative educational frameworks and platforms and all those things for other businesses. Then one of them was like business to consumer, but I kind of like business to community better, because that's actually probably the part that's not going to, in terms, unless it's people like getting individual consultations, but usually then it's more related to business anyway. So I kind of like business to community sort of being like that free level almost in a way, or I don't know, but I like B2C as business to community versus business to customer. And then the other one I thought was like business to education. And then I came up with like business to academia as a better maybe phrase to use there, like B to A rather than B to E. And then I went, oh, snap. So I have B to A, B to B, and B to C. Cool? Not cool?
B community is interesting.
But what do you think about that? Like, because it's ABC, so it's pretty catchy. I have
Okay.
B to A, B to B, and B to C.
I could see the slide. Yeah, and it would have to have the requisite Venn diagram.
You mean of my tokenomics that are too confusing, so they just try and give me money and I can rug them?
Yeah, but like if you have like the business and then you have B to A, B to
Venn diagram of like the three of them. Isn't
yes,
that like the toxic symbol? Isn't the toxic symbol like the 3 circles?
Yeah, if you don't fill out the circles. But if you make them like a soft pastel, you know, like a pink, a blue.
And then I just have to figure out what the hell. I'll ask ChatGPT what are my target markets at the intersections of those.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I've seen too many decks. I get like,
Dude, that's
it's like
so helpful for me. Thanks.
I have like caricatures of pitch decks in my head. I'm like,
Anyway, for
every
what
yeah,
it's worth, I am hitting my vape here as I work away on my
I love it.
thing. I was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of
No,
person
it's
is
good.
the service for, specify what kind of person is the customer, and I was like, she's really like putting me to work, making me write all this shit down after a year and a half. Finally,
Incredible. Beat a community. Yeah, Casey would be a good intermediary for that. He's seen like the best and worst parts of communities.
but I think he's going to be big on the business to business side too, finding all those projects that want someone to build them
Hmm.
an educational framework or want us to white label one we already have with their project name on it, those sort of things.
So what do you have? Because I'm looking, like I teach music, right? And I've started teaching music to teachers in one of the school boards here. And I thought of, okay, so, we have books that we've written that they want to take to print and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking about my relationship with the teachers because I go into a school and I teach teachers, but then you leave, right? And unless you have emails between all of them, it kind of, you know what I mean? You kind of lose that momentum. So I was thinking about, I'm test driving
So kind
circle.so
of what
right
we've
now.
started doing. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah, so I'm just,
circle. Is
yeah, I'm
that
just,
like a? Oh yeah, we
yeah.
were talking about circle in Kajabi the other day,
Yeah, so
actually.
I'm test driving Circle right now because my desire is that I'm not the only person teaching, that when I can unlock the community teaching and helping each other, that's when things can grow. So that's why I'm investigating like Circle. But yeah, you mentioned about what you guys have, so I'm curious.
So like one thing we're doing is, you're familiar with Regulation 17 because you're Canadian, right?
No, what's that?
Maybe you learned about it in school. It was the historical thing about in Ontario specifically around the French language, and there was a time where it was banned from being taught in schools, or there was like some big historical thing. Anyway, so
Yeah.
my partner in Canada, he wanted basically to make a space where teachers could, through a spatial experience, like showcase and teach kids about Regulation 17. And so we recreated like kind of a kind of just a remodel that I could find, but like a mining town almost, and some older kind of town, and then there's like these little sort of flashy spinny things, and sort of as you wander into town you see one and it catches your eye, and then like as you come to that you can see where the next one is, and at each one of them is like a poster with some information about Regulation 17, or the first one's like about what this whole thing is, that but we you can take that to teachers and then leave it with them, like you like this is no longer just a service that you're giving, it's a product, it's something that they can then use to show their kids, both teach them about immersive technologies, like the teachers can again then get enabled to teach their kids about spatial, right? So then the kids are learning these applicable skills to the future. The teachers are creating something innovative, everyone is super interested in what's going on because it's unique and new, and then at the same time you're actually using it to deliver content. And the idea was like they would go through this learning journey, and at the end of it was a portal that takes them to a sandbox. So as long as they find their way through and they pass this quiz, then they get into a space that's unlocked and they can upload stuff and they can play and muck it up as much as they want. And then every time you can just put a portal to a new space at the end of the learning journey to give the kids
Right.
someplace to go play, like a fresh slate. it's like a pretty cool model, and you can use it for almost any content, right? With the little like Easter egg kind of treasure hunt where they have to wander from thing to thing, and then you just give them a quiz at the end. And if they pass it, they get into, you know, the sandbox, and they get to play for a half hour or whatever. And the kids who do it and pass the test are in there having fun, and all the other kids are like, fuck, I want to go search Sketchfab and bring in an animated dog. Like, you know, I better take this quiz, you know? Because
Casey
that's like
helped me.
the reward is getting to play in spatial for having completed the curriculum.
Makes sense. Casey helped me take like a model of an underground city from Sketchfab. It was like $15, and he blew it up massively and created a huge spatial space.
Yeah, I've been helping him on some of his projects when he finds these Sketchfab models, like he did for Rocket Lady. He did this like Mario Kart, the Coconut Mall, but the escalators in the original, like, it didn't have the escalators because in the original game, I guess those are animated, and so it just had these blank spaces. And he was like, people come into the mall in spatial and they can't go upstairs. He's like, can you just take the model in Blender and put in some ramps for me? I was like, I got you, buddy. So I like found this big strip of parking lot that was like a nice texture, and I just made a copy of it and scaled it to the right size and tilted it on an angle, and just fucking made like 5 of those and put like these ramps in all through the Coconut Mall so that he could use it in spatial and people could actually go up and down between the levels. But it was like, I don't know a lot in Blender, but it was such a powerful skill to be able to help him with this one thing that was just made such a difference, right? So it's like someone could just learn the basics of Blender and be so helpful. And someone could just learn how to like download Sketchfab models and find and consult with, oh, this is one option, but it's going to cost you $100, or we can do this for 15, or for free, we can use one of these, and for a certain price, you'll consult with someone, you'll do some research, and you'll come back with like a proposal and some model options or something. And people are like, oh my God, this, like, we'll have it ready next week. And they're like, what? I think there's a lot of opportunity, but then what are the hell they going to do with them, right? That's the point we keep coming back to. And how do you get them to keep using it and to keep coming back to that community rather than being this one-time experience? That's kind of what you were getting at.
I'm looking at this control net stuff.
Yeah, I found a good tweet that was like, it was talking about control net, it was talking about stable diffusion, it was talking about ChatGPT, like all of them. It was like a thread, and each one had like a sub thread on it with the like, here's what you need to know to make this thing work kind of thing. I'll try and find it right now.
So when do you like have a little time off between the 2 gigs?
No.
Oof.
It's awesome.
Just straight in.
Straight in.
So like, did you like, how did you break the news?
She doesn't know. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that conversation going to be like?
I don't know. I don't know. We have one more job with her. I have one more job with her, and I'm assuming it's not going to be pretty at work. Yeah. Yeah. So it's in a facility where she can lose her shit, and have zero repercussions. So it's just like,
right.
Ooh.
So you're preparing yourself for it.
Yeah. Game of Thrones, whatever. It is what it is. It's not,
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember somebody yelling at me and thinking, what world do you live in?
No, for real. Exactly. So
you must live in a different world than I do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's time. And today apparently is the last day of the first day of the pandemic, right? It's officially over, they said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of like serendipitous, because I kind of started this sort of like era, this job, when at the start of the pandemic, and now I'm ending the job at the end of the pandemic, which is great.
So wait a minute, you could have started the
That's-
pandemic like a butterfly effect?
Yeah. So she started and ended the pandemic, and Casey is responsible for the financial collapse. That's a pretty powerful group we're aggregating here.
That tracks. Yeah, this New Hampshire, California butterfly effect is serious. Don't make any sudden moves, Pete.
Just stay off my shit list.
That goes for you too, the U.S. economy. You watch out for Anne.
So
she'll get you.
Go ahead.
No, I have nothing.
So just the bookends you were saying, like you started and finished it, reminded me, my daughter's mom and the one that's in Canada, about we'd been married maybe 7 years. We're now divorced, obviously. We'd been married about 7 years when we or 6 years when we decided to separate and get a divorce, and we didn't have permanent residency in Australia yet. So we had to like keep it on the down low that we were no longer together and live in the same house until we could get our permanent residency, and then I could move out. And then by law in Australia, once you've moved out, like an official, then you file divorce a year later. Like if you want to go like the easy route with the paperwork. Basically, you have to be separated for a year. And that I think had to do with the legal stuff around the permanent residency, and that she had just come in on my visa. And anyway, so whatever. So the time passes. I finally move out. The fine is finally passed. We finally apply for the divorce. The courts finally like accept the paperwork for the court at which it'll be formalized, like that we are divorced, which then has to be 6 weeks law. And the random date they end up picking at the end of all that is 10 years to the day our wedding anniversary. So we got married and divorced on the same day, 10 years apart.
Jeez.
We're like, how even in the fuck does that possibly happen? Yeah, life's wild.
Is there an AI that will allow me to create or simulate the back of an image?
I know like NVIDIA and some of those Nerf kind of things are doing that now. Are there any publicly available tools? That's a whole nother question, huh? Because they want to go from picture to immersive world, and they don't want other people doing it with their technology before they do.
Trying to look at.
I've heard some of that. I've heard some of that AI tech now can like look at a photograph and make a 3D mesh of that entire space with like the skins and everything, because it has enough images of all those objects, so it can basically reference them and build meshed objects that reflect them, even though it only has one view in the photograph. It can identify what the things in the photograph are. Oh, that's that's a bicycle, that's a car, that's a such and such, and so then it can make them anyway, even though it only has one image to work from, which is madness. Septima.
I'm gonna go into Leonardo and try it because I've been
I made my new training set in Leonardo.
Oh, how's that going?
It's cool. It's doing a really good job. I'm doing playing cards.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And it's doing a really good job of like only changing the design in the middle of the card, so it doesn't fuck with like the aces or whatever.
Nice.
Oh, good, because then we can just mask and have the different, card numbers in the corner and just mess with the design in the middle.
Yeah, I put up some of the stuff. One of the pictures I did of Dan.
Hey, Septima.
Hey, Septima.
Hey, guys. Are we talking about, wait, are you doing ChatGPT stuff?
No, we're actually doing AI art stuff for once.
Ooh, what are you using?
Leonardo.ai.
Interesting. So I just started doing the art stuff.
Yeah.
I've been an analog artist for like 3 decades. And
No,
so
but as you know, you unofficially pay me to stay just ahead of whatever you're doing, so that then you
yeah,
can ask me about it, and you learn it quicker.
exactly right. Um, no, but I finally started to dip into the art, and I tried Dolly. I tried Stable Diffusion, I think, and Midjourney. Midjourney is by far the best. Um, but
Yes.
it's a paid subscription, and you run out of
Yeah.
credits really, really quickly on the
As soon
base.
as I sell my NFTs, I'm going to pay for it. Like, I am just waiting so I can justify it for my business. I just can't yet,
Yeah, you know what?
but I should.
I haven't upgraded to the paid ChatGPT, and I haven't had any issues with like speed or quality of my um of the work that I've done on it. So I don't think I'm going to pay for ChatGPT. Maybe I'll get Midjourney instead. But how's Leonardo?
And that it's cool. It's cool. You can like kind of drag and drop, make training sets, and then use those in Stable Diffusion. Um, I've actually seen some people starting to do some pretty amazing stuff with Stable Diffusion, as they're starting to sort of understand how to like craft the prompts better. But what I've actually been having a lot of fun with lately is I'll go to Dolly and get something that I like as a single image, and then I'll use that as my seed with a different prompt in Stable Diffusion, and just experiment with the prompt weightings and the image noise, and like sort of drive my picture from some original piece of AI art as sort of as a seed image for it. And I'm starting to get some pretty good results in terms of without having to train my own models, actually being able to get some pretty decent control. But Mike was talking about a control net. Are you onto that at all, Septima? That's like, yeah, you want a person in this position every time in your AI image, and it'll, like you. I think it's getting pretty wild. Have you seen some of that
No,
stuff
but I
lately?
would
Yeah,
like to learn about that because
me
I don't know,
too.
the prompts I've been putting in have sort of kind of randomly placed my figures in the composition, and I don't really like that. Um but I don't know. I kind of found like even when you prompt it for photorealism in Dolly, the quality of the images just isn't very good. Maybe it's something I'm doing, but in Midjourney, it was like my first couple of prompts looked amazing.
What do you
So
think about the images at the top? The most recent ones. Those are ones I'm making with Leonardo.
this really like fantastical. Hold on, let me look. Those are really cool. This is the thing about AI art though, like is you can do this crazy fantasy stuff, but that's not really my style. My style is kind of like messy punk rock, kind of like black and white like street photography mixed with like street art. It's not it's very hard to do with AI. I don't know because it's like propensity for human error. That's what I like in my art. So the stuff that's like highly detailed, like fantasy figures, I'm seeing a lot of that with AI, and it's doing it really well, but it just really doesn't emulate my art very well. But I do want photorealistic stuff, and Midjourney seems to be the best at that. I do like your characters; they look really awesome. AI is really, really great with this type of art. What are you using? You're using Leonardo for this?
Yeah, a combination of Playground AI, Leonardo. What else? Those two. The great thing with Leonardo is you can train a model based on a certain set of similar images with just drag and drop, and it trains it in about maybe less than 5 minutes.
That's really cool.
So
I think it's going
like,
to be
yeah,
really great for generating like characters for animation.
yeah. I got in this thing where I wanted to see if it could create toys. So I'm putting some variations of what it's done. I did a Sailor Moon one to see how that would turn out. I'll put them to the
You
top.
should try Scenario if you want to create toys for all sorts
Mm.
of gaming assets. That's what Scenario is really geared towards.
Actually, what I found fun is Septima. You ever use studio.d/id?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll put it to the top. What I was able to do with this thing is have it speak, have one of my AI images that I created speak audio. So I put that to the top.
Interesting. I just typed that into my browser and it's not working. Hold on. Studio.
He said slash. It's a dash.
My bad.
Which one's a dash?
Studio
It's
Studio.
it's at the top.
dash
The title.
.com.
I know I can't copy titles, so I gotta.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mendes.
What is it? Studio.d
-id.com.
-id.com. Sorry, I'm trying to type it into my
No,
phone
it's okay.
and talk to you guys at the same time. Oh, here we go. It's coming on. Oh, neat. I like the user interface. It's very simple.
The user interface is gorgeous.
Yeah, I love like minimalist UX. My favorite NFT platform is Object for that reason. NFT marketplace.
Mhm.
They do a very good job. I don't know. I'll poke around with this. It's hard. Like I'm just starting to play with the AI art. What I'm really loving AI for right now is doing my research. So I pulled together a bunch of research because I'm working on a book on architectural theory, and there's just like so much to go through, and it's parsing the information and summarizing it really well for me, so that it's making my research easier to write my chapters. So I've kind of like been pretty set on that. I think what I want to play with next though, because I played a little bit with like the AI art recently, and I don't know. I just like really creating like tangible art. I can't so much get into like the digital art. I might just keep fucking around with it to generate images to do something from like a business perspective, but as an artist, like I just prefer doing like analog art. Um but I want to play with music. I want to play with music AI. Have you guys played with any of the music AI platforms?
Mhm.
Okay. Is it coming up pretty like how is it working out for you? What kind of results are you getting?
I found the beats were good, but the quality was wanting. It was like getting a very low resolution audio clip of a song on the radio. You know what I mean? But like what it created, I enjoyed. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. One of the things that okay, so if you can like use DAWs at their most basic level, one of the things that I was thinking how you could generate music is like um put in some sort of a prompt in chat gpt of the like specific type of track that you want to create, and then it can generate the music, the chords for you, and then you could feed those into your daw somehow and get
Hmm.
them like give you, I don't know, they put it under some
It'll
sort of
you can
changing.
actually ask it. You can ask it for tablature if you didn't know.
Okay.
Chat GPT
Okay,
will give you tab, which is pretty cool.
interesting. All right, do you guys know how to put that stuff into your daw? Do you have to manually put it in, or is there a way to actually
You,
get it in?
you know what? I'll give my wife that challenge to figure out. She's just studying desktop music and DAW right now,
So
and really getting into it. And I'm trying to get her more into Chat GPT. So I'll tell her to try and
Oh
figure
my
that one
god,
out. But I'm super
please.
curious.
Yeah,
Can you check your DMs, Septima? I sent you 4 images. I was just
Yeah.
playing around. I'm curious if any of those are kind of more the vibe of what you're talking about.
Cool.
Like
Oh,
top left, bottom right, just something like
okay.
that. Then I'll
Have
make more
you
like that.
have you used FL Studio as a DAW?
I love FL Studio.
Yeah.
I'm not subscribed to it right now. I
No,
don't
you
know.
don't. Yeah.
I don't
So
know what it,
if
but
you have FL Studio and you have ChatGPT, then you can ask ChatGPT to do the chord progression and use the piano roll in FL Studio to lay out the chord progression.
interesting. I might have to get FL Studio. I haven't had it for
Mm.
years. I haven't had it since my
It's
last
so
mic.
smooth. It's the smoothest
Yeah.
thing in the world. So yeah, in like 2 seconds you'll have your chord progression in there, and you could, if you ask it to write, intro, chorus, pre-chorus, chorus. You know what I mean? Add in a bridge. It should be pretty straightforward.
Interesting. Yeah, I did have one. I did. I asked for it to develop a good a track that was like a cross between Martin Garrix and Alice in Chains, and it gave me the chords, and I want to feed them into a DAW so that I can see what it sounds like, and then play with that. But I think the only one I have on my device right now is like the default one. I've got GarageBand right now.
I'm sure it could
But
work there. I just like FL personally, just personal taste.
yeah, I used FL about 4 or 5 years ago, and I really liked it too. I was like experimenting with a bunch of different DAWs. I tried Logic, FL, GarageBand, which is just basic Logic, and
Mhm.
one other one which was like really terrible. It came with one of my um, fuck, I don't remember what it's called. Like the device that I plug my guitar into that plugs into my computer. And I hated it, but I can't remember what the platform was.
The cool thing with FL is, hold on, I have it open right now. I use it a lot.
Martin Garrix uses FL, and he's like, out of all EDM DJs, he's probably my favorite. So I played with that one, and I really, really like their user interface.
So if I have FL in front of me and open up the piano roll, oh, because it's on the the drums. If I open up a sampler and I guess get a piano out of the packs, hold on, I might as well record this and I'll do the video. So if I just get a piano, Usatruve, the piano, keyboard, grand, no, stage grand, why not? All right, so it loads the piano into a track. Takes a little while. There's my keyboard. I should hear keys now. Sorry, it's a horror movie. Anyways, the cool thing about FL is that you can not to say you don't know music theory, but imagine if you didn't, you could be like, oh, ChatGPT is telling me it needs to play C major. So you can literally click on major and just paste it in, and it'll give you C major. So you could go C major, and then let's do a major seventh, and then we can do minor.
Can you just try and paste in a song?
Like what? Let me ask you this: what song chord progression do you like?
Here, I'll send it to you. I'm going to send you the
Sure.
song that ChatGPT
Okay.
generated for me.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Let's see if we can do this in real time.
You want me to just drop in the comments or DM you?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Either. Let's see if we can do this.
So meanwhile, Dan, sorry, Mike.
Oh, it's gonna be too many characters for the comments. I'll DM you.
Meanwhile, I figured out how to use ChatGPT to write me Python code that I can run in a Google Colab notebook that will output MIDI files.
Wow.
So I just said, can you write me the drum snare for a jazz track over 16 measures with the Python code to output a MIDI file? It said, sure, here's an example of Python code that generates a 16 measure jazz snare drum pattern and exports it as a MIDI file. using the Mito library. So I'm going to go try and run this in Google Colab. But we might be able to tell it to generate whatever we want, and then we just paste that into a browser, and we have a MIDI file.
This is so fun. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys the song it generated for me. Wait, I just started following you. I don't.
Same.
Sam?
Oh, do
Yeah.
you two not know each other?
No, I mean we've been in spaces
We've
together,
been,
but we don't.
we met
We've
through
never.
other people.
We've
Yeah,
been in
you're
spaces
you're
together.
onto some very similar interests, so this is good.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm gonna send a group message to you two, and I'm gonna paste the chords in here. So let me see.
I'm looking at Python code right now with a comment that says, iterate over the snare pattern and add the snare drum hits to the MIDI track. Time equals 0 for pattern in snare pattern for I note in enumerate pattern. Like, holy shit, this is fucking written code that'll output MIDI. So cool.
Okay, so I asked it to generate. Hold on. Am I on mute? I don't know. No. Okay, sorry.
No,
Keeping myself off of mute because I'm doing a ton of things in the background. Okay, so I asked it to generate a song that was a cross between Martin Garrix's Ocean and Alice in Chains and Elton John's track Black Gives Way to Blue. Because I think that they're a similar tempo, but this is what it gave me and it separated it off into verse chorus. I think it did verse chorus verse chorus bridge chorus.
All right, so what I'm going to do is generate the piano for the first line. C major, A minor, G, D, C, A minor, G, and D.
You going to send that to me as well, September, or did you?
Yeah, I think I group messaged it to you both. Yeah, it should be at the top of your messages. I would love if this worked because I have wanted to make music for so long, but I don't have the patience for DAWs. Just doing it all from scratch.
What beats per minute?
Hang on. Okay, 140 beats per minute. C minor.
All right, I'm just laying them out one by one. That's A minor. C and A minor is what you're hearing. A minor being the relative minor of C major, so it sounds similar. G and D. All right, let's do it. G, D, D major. Here we go. No, there we go. C, and that repeats again. So can I control A that and then stop it here? Can I move this over like that? Okay, I can. So there we go. That's the first line. Oh, all of them. So what's the first line again? C. I'm just going to play this on a different instrument to see if the note selection should be different. So we have. Oh. Nice. Sounds good.
Interesting. It actually like I can hear the influence of both songs in it.
Yeah. So this is, you heard the piano first, but this is my steel pan, right? So what you're hearing right now, just me playing C major, A minor, G major, D major. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, I like
So
that progression.
it's gorgeous. Yeah. So let me just stop that and go into yeah, I teach music. So
Oh my gosh, this is perfect. I haven't
yeah,
I don't remember
Yeah, I was
theory at
trying to
all.
keep
I
my mouth
learned
shut.
yeah.
just let it
Like it's
happen.
come to the right place. My goodness.
Let it happen. Yeah.
Because I want to create tracks that are like that are like that marry some of my favorite songs, and I listen to such a wide spectrum of music. Like my favorite artists of all time are Otis Redding, Elton John, and Alice in Chains and Pantera. Like I listen to such a wide range of music, and I want to marry stuff without actually like overtly marrying it. Um, and I love like I don't know, mashup artists like Girl Talk and stuff, but I don't have the patience to sit there and become an audio engineer. But I know a lot of like really great producers do stuff like I know Timbaland and um I can't remember who else. I've seen master classes though with these people, and they don't even like know audio engineering equipment. Like they literally just sit in a booth and like make beats with sounds, and then they get their audio engineers to figure it out.
Yes, after the fact a lot of times. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to try to cut this down. Let's see.
I'm so excited to hear my first ChatGPT song.
So the Python code kept crapping out and it couldn't debug it. So now I'm trying to have it write the annotation in music XML because a lot of DAWs can import that.
Hey Mentis, I look at the pictures. They're still kind of like stock photo. Here, I'll send you what my art looks like. It's too hard to do digitally, I think.
Send me one of your pictures and let's see if I can make more pictures like one of your pictures.
I'm almost done this tutorial. I'm going to upload it, or I'll send it to you.
There, Mentis, I just sent you some of my art. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm excited for my first ChatGPT generated track. Collab with, is this a Syndicate space? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mike, can you share that video with me too as well if you don't tweet it out?
Yeah,
Because
what I'll do
it's
is I'll
pretty.
just
I figure
create
it's pretty raw. You don't necessarily.
um,
You're just sort of cutting it
the,
up.
um, the from Chat GPT to FL Studio, and a bit of steel pen. All right, so that's what we'll call it. High adapting more. I was trying to make this shorter, but I'll leave in the steel pan part. Render maximum. Exporting. That'll take 2 minutes. Let me open up. I really should make it shorter. Well, no, it's fine. That'll take a little extra time sometimes for it to upload the HD, but I'll create a unlisted link on YouTube, and you should have it in the next 3 minutes.
Oh, this is exciting. Thanks for collabing with me. I don't like learning the technical stuff. I just want to be creative. I'm such a typical artist.
No, but this is what we do for each other, right? So some of the people here are money people, some people are creative, some people are devs, and we just get in where we fit in. Sometimes I need, like, people in this room taught me Python, and as a recruiter, I'm always kind of collecting souls, you know what I mean? So you never know how they'll come in handy. So I just try to be as helpful as possible.
I like it. I could teach you how to like do cement casting or glass art, like stained glass windows or printmaking, but all that stuff needs to be done IRL.
I like it. I was actually talking to Pete. He left, and he's a carpenter. He makes roofs. And I was like, yo, Pete, could you make like one of those fancy schmancy boardroom reclaimed table thingies? Right. So we're talking about that today.
Oh, those are so cool.
Yeah, right. With the whole lacquer pouring thing, and they put stuff inside the mold.
I actually saw a designer who did that with a staircase. So they did the reclaimed wood staircase with that weight, with that like central kind of like water feature looking thing going down the center. It was insane. I have no idea how they pulled that off. I can't even imagine. And I've been like very creative with building things like furniture and stuff. And I have no idea how that's even possible to build something like that.
So like the pattern went down the stairs from each piece of wood?
Yeah, like
that's dedication.
It free flowed the way that you would see one of those. Like how they do the I assume that the tables you're talking about are the ones where it's like cross section, like a cross section of a tree, and then they cut out the center and they fill it with like an epoxy or something.
Yeah.
So it was basically like that, but it was a staircase.
Huh.
So it was wood on either side, and then that kind of like colored epoxy thing in the center.
Yeah, it's epoxy. That's the thing it's called. I didn't know what they call that chemical.
I think it's epoxy. I have a girlfriend that does it. It's a fucking nightmare to actually pour that stuff. It like will leave a layer of like chemical dust all over your apartment. It's insane. But it's a very, very messy hobby. But the results, like what you can create with it, is absolutely insane. It's not epoxy though. It's something else. I can't remember what it's called. It's I don't know. It's like a lacquer or a something.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting closer.
We're getting closer. Keep saying complicated chemistry words. I think we'll get it. We're getting closer.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. some sort of chemical that is involved in built environments.
Mm-hmm. That's so dark. My brain was like, I wonder how many of those reclaimed wood things are on sale now. All right. So finally.
Yeah, they're not really my style, to be honest. I think that they're really beautiful, and I grew up in the Pacific Northwest where they're very popular. Like it's super popular to use like natural materials in decor here, but they're not really my style. I like white minimalist.
All right. So this is uploading 2 minutes left.
Do we have our song?
We have the first because here's the way I did it. I'm confident that since you know your way around a computer and know your way around music, that if you see how I laid out the first line, you'll be well on your way. Because I recorded myself laying down the chords.
Oh, I love this. Yeah. Oh my God, I love this. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I do the first line, you do the rest.
Oh, amazing. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna do it in GarageBand. The layout like on GarageBand is fairly similar to Fruity Loops, and if I like doing it, I'll get FL back. But
whatever works for you. Yeah.
but I'm so excited to try this. Thank you.
The chord progression is
You
really
didn't
nice.
share that with me? Is that right?
Oh, it's uploading still.
What did you say about the chord progression? Did I miss something?
All right. How much longer? 37. Where's that chord progression? That's over here. C major was C major, A minor, G, D, B7, which is D, E flat, F sharpened. And then it repeats. Okay, then they put the B. Let's see here. Checking 1%. I like the first line itself. As it goes, C major, A minor. A minor is A, C, and B. So. Nice. Okay, I think it should be up. Copy. Hang on. Okay, I got you. Your voice. All right. And into the group. All right. All right. It's in the group. Let me know what you think.
I'm gonna have to watch this after. Hold on. I'm gonna have to watch this after I leave Spaces because it always crashes my Spaces whenever I go into it. But I'm gonna try it and see if I can translate it to GarageBand and then lay out the rest of the track. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for the tutorial. I've been trying to figure this out. I really want to make music, but I am somebody who and I know this about a lot of my friends that have been very successful in music, is I can't actually read music and nor do I have the patience to care. I just know what sounds good and what doesn't. So I've always played by ear. I learned guitar by ear, I learned piano by ear, but I hate sheet music and I hate trying to figure out DAWs.
Yeah, my whole music courses, I don't use any sheet notation to teach music theory. No, it used to be complicated. I actually came on Twitter because I wanted to write the minimum viable theory of everything, as strange as that sounds, or hubristic that sounds, I guess. And I started learning about music theory from just folks on Twitter. And I kind of used it as a decentralized peer review where I'd put out an idea and then people would all of a sudden jump on the thread and start correcting me. So here, this is from a few years ago. Oh, almost 3 years ago. Wow, time flies. So this is one way to look at music theory. There's the linear, there's the tetrahedral, the circular, even the dodecahedral. So if you look at that chart on the top, it represents all major and minor chords as flipped triangles. So obviously I can go down the rabbit hole forever, but these are some of the intuitions that I learned with some of the folks here on Twitter.
Oh, that's super interesting. I've never seen it laid out like that before. I think it's just really a matter of figuring out your learning style.
Yes, that's what it is primarily. The staff style of teaching music is one way of teaching music theory. but it is just one way. It's just the dominant way.
Yeah, I even find like I started to pick up piano again because I haven't played since I was like 10 years old, and I started to pick it up again. And I found the easiest way for me is to listen and actually just see the visuals. So
Yep.
those YouTube videos where they actually press the keys for,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see like the length that they hold
Yeah,
the keys.
yeah,
And
with the light up lasers.
yeah, like I can learn a song just emulating one of those as opposed to actually just reading music. I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's finally a learning style that I can use.
Mm-hmm. You might be more strong audibly than most folks, and so like we don't realize that our superpowers are our superpowers.
So what's the deal with those little red circles?
Oh, so if you look at that map, right? Look at that. Yeah. Hold on. You can hear me? Check. Mantis?
Hello?
Oh, Mantis, can you hear me?
Mentis, can you hear him?
It says he's muted.
Oh,
Try again.
I don't know. He might be rugging, Mentis.
One
Like
sec.
I can hear him.
Check.
He's
One
talking.
sec.
He's talking at the same time as me. We're talking right now. Nope. Never mind. Can't hear him. Okay.
Hello?
He'll be back.
No. All right. Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you. I think Mentis is dropped out and is gonna come back.
Just restarted it. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Some dreams stay dreams. Some dreams come true. All right, Mantis. I think we got it. Oh, so that map at the top.
Mentis, can you hear him now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that map there. Let's look at one of those circles. So, do you see the circle? Do you see the triangle D, F, and A?
The top red circle.
Yes. So D, F, and A, those are the notes in D minor. D, F, A are the notes in D minor. If you were to flip that triangle along the D and A axis, such that you see D, F sharp and A, you see that move, that flip to D, F, and A to D, F sharp and A?
Yep.
D, F sharp and A is D major. D, F, A is D minor. D, F sharp, A, D major. And that consistency extends to the entire of that tone net, or Hauptmann's tonnets.
So A, C, E is an A minor.
Correct.
Cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. It's the circle of fifths going one way and the circle of fourths going the other, essentially.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. So if you look through that whole thread, you'll see me and a few other people like Matthias and all the other crazies kind of going nuts. And he's like, oh, I play the piano. Let's try this out. No, I play this. Let's try that over here. And so, yeah, before Twitter Spaces, that's how I used to like learn stuff from people. I used to like put out ideas and have people respond. And whenever I thought I knew everything about something, somebody would hit me upside the head with something new. And I'd be like, ah, fuck, all right, let me spend another 6 months understanding the link you just sent me, that kind of thing.
Now you just talk to people about it, and in like 5 minutes you understand it.
I love the rabbit holes. I remember hearing Malcolm Gladwell talk about when he does his research, and he'll go to read something for a piece of his research, and he'll talk to somebody, and then he'll click through to another interesting article, and then he'll learn about another interesting book, and it's just like this never ending thing. I think that's I don't know.
Like
It's just a way to live.
Last night on the Lowly Labs, I was doing a Discord screen share and teaching people about spatial and how you can use the tool and connect your Ready Player Me and that kind of stuff. And this one guy was like, because I was showing him this space where I have these like spheres with those skyboxes on them, and you can like sit in a chair and the skyboxes move around. He's like, I want to see how you did the animation for that in Blender. So I'm just like, all of a sudden, we're like off in Blender, like in the animation panel and stuff. And it's like such this massive divergence. But like, I waited till the end because I saw his comment. I was like, okay, if anyone here is getting totally lost, just like hang on, because he wants me to just like go deep into this tool. It was really fun though.
Yeah, I'm always skeptical of people who act like they know everything. So I'm like, no, life is
Yeah.
literally nothing but questions and curiosities and new rabbit holes everywhere you
This
go.
one guy was like, if I'm in Ready Player Me and I create a custom avatar, what are the IP rights that I have to it, and how does that work? I was like, I don't know. That's the best answer I've got for you, other than look at their terms of service. Like,
yeah, I see people like say, "Oh, ChatGPT, it's not like fancy." I'm like, maybe you don't know how to ask it the right questions, because I'm doing pretty fine over here.
I had someone DM me. I helped them. I for fun on a Twitter space. I was like, okay, the first people who DM me, I'll give you like a free. I'll write a business case for you. I was like, just DM me and send me as much information or as little as you want. And then like I wrote him business cases, and this guy, one guy was like crying in my DMs. He's like, I've used ChatGPT, but it doesn't do anything like that for me.
Rocky.
I mean, it's just like Google. Like some people are bad at Google. Like just straight up. They just don't know how, keywords link together.
Yeah, like how I talk to my mom. I'm like, hey mom, you know that question you asked me? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna type it in over here.
No, it's not even like my parents. Like just straight up, like people in college, like classmates, like people who are like my age. That just
So you're saying
not doing
Generation X still has a chance?
No,
Rocky will
I
be
agree.
happy to
Like I
hear.
think it's just like any other skill. Like you just have to learn the same way you do research.
You know what's crazy though?
I get
We assume that everyone has the same level of literacy that we do, and I'm noticing we take that for
I have the
granted.
perfect example, right? I got a DM from this buddy of mine the other day. He was asking me if I knew any good tools to make links like that'll expire in 48 hours. So
oh my god,
I just took his DM and I put it into chat.
Just making
It
fun
was
of me.
Rocky. It was Rocky. So he's here now, 24 hours later, going, "Hey, these people just need to learn how to ask the questions," and I'm so proud of you, man. How fast we learn.
I honestly did not even think of that.
That's the point. Like,
not
I literally
ingrained
just
in me.
copied and pasted his question to me and copied and pasted the answer back from ChatGPT.
Yeah, I looked for it on Google and it was just not giving me good answers. Like,
oh, dude,
it was like
do you guys
vacated and everything.
Do you guys know? Let me Google that for you. Have you ever heard of that?
I do not.
No, but
it's lmgtfy.com. Let me Google that for you. And basically, you have two options. You can either you can give someone a link. It'll take them to this page. Let me Google that for you, and it'll actually show them how to click and like an instructional thing and type in their question, and then it'll like show the search button and it'll push it and it'll take them to the search results from Google. Like, teaches them how to Google. So you're like, here, let me Google that for you. And then you give them a page that actually shows them how to Google it for themselves in the future. I was like, we need to make like an API front end that's let me chat GPT that for you.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
100%. People are going to ask all these questions. You're like, fucking ask ChatGPT. Even better, here, let me ChatGPT that for you, right?
Oh my God. Do you remember Ask Jeeves? It should be Ask Chad or something. But it uses ChatGPT.
Ask Max, or Ask Cheeves.
Well, it's funny because people around me that are not having any of these AI conversations, and they're aware that these tools exist, but they're just like whatever, they're brushing them off. They'll say things to me like, "Oh, you'd be so proud of me. I tried ChatGPT today and had it like generate a social media post." I'm like, you realize that that's the most primary thing. Like, it could like replace that 5 or 6 hours that you spent on making a communications plan with like the right prompt that would take you 5 minutes. Like you were totally underutilizing this tool. So yeah, it's funny. I think that would be really fun to do that with ChatGPT, except for I don't know, but you have to get so detailed, right? With Google, you just had to make sure you were using the pluses and quotations and stuff and searching things properly. But with ChatGPT, like you need a very detailed prompt.
I think it'd be interesting if you had a site that
No, you don't need a
you would.
detailed prompt. Sorry. Go ahead. I mean, literally,
Oh,
I
no, I was
copied
just
and
thinking about
pasted his text to me into ChatGPT. There was nothing more to it.
well, but what if you had
Okay,
a
sorry.
site like where you typed in the query, and then on the left side you had the Google results, and on the right side the ChatGPT response.
Like a matchup. Sorry, Septima, I don't mean to sound so like contrarian or definitive, and I'm not sure I'm right. I mean, just in this specific case, like that was my point, is like people don't even,
Oh no,
it's so
no
conversational. Like you're
no
literally asking someone.
I misunderstood. I was like, because so many people are trying to really complicate the whole prompt engineering thing. It's just like, no, if you actually just feed it like the exact data it needs, it will give you a very good output, right?
Like fucking talk
So
to it. Just have a
yeah,
conversation. Be like, I am trying to do this. I want your
I
help.
actually
Can you give me help?
did I
Have you guys used AI PRM, the Chrome extension?
no.
No.
You should try it out. It's super cool. It's basically crowdsource prompts with ChatGPT, but like in a Chrome extension. Because sometimes like I don't know what prompt engine I want to use for like what like niche, like blog writing or brainstorming or something like that. It's basically that. It's super cool. I would try it out.
What is it called? I'll install it.
It's a Chrome extension. It's called AI PRM.
AR AIPRM.
Yeah, AI PRM.
And the name of it, it's pretty straightforward. It says AI PRM for ChatGPT. It's like, oh yeah, nice. That's obviously the right one. I'm just finding it now too. Cool.
But yeah, I'm still getting used to like not like you used to like Google everything first, right? Well, now we talk to Chad first.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying it because it's like it takes a lot of the work that I don't want to do and does it for me. So I'm a writer, both like professionally and as a hobby, and I want more time to actually spend on writing the stuff that I actually like. But stuff I end up writing for clients is like marketing communications, all of that stuff, and it's so boring. But ChatGPT can do all the boring stuff. So yeah, I go straight to ChatGPT for everything now. I love it.
Uh, Rocky, can you search through these prompts? Oh, there it is. The search. It's the UI leaves something to be desired. I finally found the search for the prompts.
Yeah, the UI is yeah, it's to be desired, but these tools are all pretty janky. They're relatively new. And at least the good part, like they're not charging for anything for these yet.
Okay, I'm installing it. I'm going to try it. Now I'm going to go down an AI rabbit hole tonight, which I was not expecting to do. I was just trying to organize the house and watch Netflix.
Wow, I'm using one of the prompts I just found on there. It's they did a pretty good job. Like it's one of those ones, like they've at least handled the error condition where the response is too long and it scrolls off. So it was right. It was one I just searched for teacher, and it found one that was like it'll create curriculum for any subject, and it was right in the middle of week 7, and it got to quiz questions and was like question 1, what are, and then it like hit the end of its buffer. So I just typed continue, and it said apologies for the incomplete response, here's the complete outline for the remaining weeks. So like it has, obviously the prompt has some sort of error handling written into it, which is very cool.
Write a complete book in one click. A YouTube script creator? Buyer persona legend? Holy crap, this is crazy. Oh my god, I'm
Let's
so excited
go.
about this. Rocky.
Let's go.
Oh, but I still need to revisit the video tutorial so that I can finish writing my song. You guys are giving me too much to do tonight.
See, that's the thing, is I feel like I'm not getting the work done that I'm supposed to be getting done, but part of what I'm having to do is write about these user personas for my website. So by fucking around on here for an hour until you showed up, Septima, I might get it done even quicker than I would have otherwise. Thanks to you and Rocky both. See, that's the magic that Mike makes happen at the Syndicate.
I'll be playing that chord progression in the background. I'm gonna upload something.
Man, I almost feel a kind of a little bit of a Jamaican reggae vibe there.
Yeah.
I think that's just the instrument he's using. I think if he changed it to piano or guitar or something, it would be very different.
Or it's the strain of weed I'm smoking.
Well, no, I had an edible and it doesn't sound well. I mean, yeah, same explanation.
I was wondering what brought us all together. No wonder.
If it's Saturday and I'm in Twitter Space, it probably. I'm from Canada. They're legal here. We legitimately have like government regulated stores that are super fancy, and you go in and order off of a menu. Do you want weed soda? Do you want weed gummies? Do you want weed cookies? It's amazing.
Where in Canada are you?
I'm in Vancouver.
Oh, okay. I'm in Toronto, outside Toronto.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna move east soon. I think. I think I'm gonna move to Montreal in the next couple of months.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it once the snow melts. It's Armageddon sometimes in Montreal in the winter.
Yeah, but the rent prices are so like
yeah,
compared to Vancouver and Toronto, the rent prices are reasonable enough that you can like fuck off and go to Mexico or something in the winter times.
And they have like a good fucking smart ass community with all the AI folks out there.
Yes,
like, and Ubisoft and all the gaming folks.
Yeah, I don't remember where I read it, but I read somewhere that AI was like Montreal was like the low key AI center of North America.
Huge. Facebook bought out the whole like McGill wing type deal. Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, I don't speak French, so they're gonna fucking hate me, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. Or I'll just be like a total troll and hang out at home with nothing because I won't be able to go out in the city because the French people hate me.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Septima.
Yeah, comment ça va?
Puis revoir dos poutine.
Yeah, exactly.
Just start mixing Spanish in there.
Yes, you did mix Spanish in there. I went to French immersion school when I was a kid, though, and I went until 10 years old. So I figure if I'm immersed, I'll probably pick it back up. So we'll find out. But
I did the same thing.
You what?
I did the same thing. I was in extended French. So we started in like grade 7, where they started teaching us gym, French, geography, all in French.
Yeah, that's way more common in Eastern Canada. In Western Canada, people take a whole bunch of different languages. Like French is not prevalent out here at all. Where you're in a city outside of Toronto?
Yeah, I'm in Hamilton.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right, this is halfway uploaded.
Go Canada.
Yeah, my joke with these folks is that I'm trying to induce the reverse brain drain, where I recruit them all to Canada instead of all the people going down to the States.
That, I mean, that's, you know, I don't understand why people think America is so great. Okay. I understand why, like, I understand that New York City is so great, but the rest of America fucking sucks for the most part. I mean, they don't have good health care. They don't have good access to education. They don't have, like, their social programming is horrific. The infrastructure is awful because the government does not take good care of, like, the sidewalks and roads and buildings. And it's just, it's funny because when you live in Canada and you see our infrastructure and our social programming and stuff, and then you go to, like, you know, go on vacation to Mexico and visit one of the villages, and then you go to that country in between the two of us. I don't think America realizes how third world like they look. Like they look more like Mexico than Canada, or than they look like Canada. Like it does. It's not. It's like, I don't know, it's a terrible thing to say, but like the government does not spend money on citizens and like caring for environments and social programs and stuff. It's like, it's kind of horrific. But people think America is such a great country. I don't get it. New York is a great country, not America. New York should be its own country. Hey, Elf.
Al, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, yeah, I was in a different window. It always takes a minute to switch to the correct window, and then for Twitter to refresh itself and not show the space I was in before. Anyway, enough about Twitter. I do have a funny short anecdote regarding American infrastructure. I am an American. I welcome any roasting of American at any time of day or night. However, I did raise my hand because I do have like a totally unrelated Web3 question mark regarding what my MetaMask is doing or Etherscan is doing. So I think I'm going to ask the room first and then tell my sidewalk anecdote. So it's very simple. I minted these on cyberspaces that a friend allow listed me for. I thought I was getting one, but I ended up getting three. So I was like, well, I might as well list them to see if anybody buys them. So I approved the trend. I approved it for, as everybody knows, like for listing on OpenSea. It was like not even the authorization to confirm the listing. This was just like to give it authorization to access all the tokens on that contract, which is like a totally normal thing. And it's doing a thing I've never seen before, which is when you it was like not going through even though the gas and the priority fee were set higher than the market rate. So I tapped on the little box and it popped up the detailed information. And when I clicked on go to Etherscan, it attempts to go, but it shows an error message of sorry, we're unable to locate this transaction hash. So then I was like, all right, something is weird. I'm going to try and cancel the transaction. And so what I'm stuck with here is I tried to overpay for either the transaction to go through, even though it doesn't show up on Etherscan, or for the attempt to be canceled, which basically costs the same thing, but neither attempt will go through. And so I don't know what's happening. I don't think it's a scam because these people have been above board the entire time for multiple drops. I just think there's something weird going on. Does anybody have any insight? Because that would make me feel a lot better.
I don't, but I'm inviting a few folks that I think that might be able to help.
Thank you. I know it's late here. Maybe Europe will be waking up in a few hours. And I believe that, oh no, the people are like originally from Europe, but they're based in California. Okay, so maybe it'll just be delayed for like half a day before I get an answer, but it just means my main wallet will not be usable until this is resolved.
It's
So I
only
guess we can.
10:30 in California. It's not
Oh,
like
you're right.
tropical.
You're right. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
DM them. Okay. So then, as a thank you for listening to my ridiculous nonsense, I will bless you all with this sidewalk anecdote. In my town, which is arguably very nice, it still has shortcomings. I've ranted about this before, where like the municipal building is run completely by these dinosaurs. I don't mean that in like a mean way. It's not ageist to just state the fact that they're all very old. But like for instance, one of the town websites, when you try to pay a fine, you can't after a certain hour of the evening because the website has operating hours, which obviously is not necessary. So it's like that kind of town. But a few years ago, I was told by a friend who lives in the same place, like the story that just made me laugh out loud because one of my pet peeves is when you're walking, if the sidewalk is uneven, I tend to pay very little attention to how even the sidewalk is, so I trip all the time. So that's like a very easy visual. Like if you like, I mean, you don't know who I am, but like if you find me in town, I'm like, chances are like quarter of the time I'm tripping over some uneven part of the sidewalk, but it never occurred to me to try to do anything about it. But the news that I got a few years ago that made me laugh out loud was apparently this elderly man in the town got so fed up with tripping over the uneven sidewalk that he decided to, I think, either submit a claim or sue the town for like he like went out of his way to locate every single place that the sidewalk was even slightly uneven and then like sue the town or sue the owner of the house, whose sidewalk whose responsibility it is. So the question came up because one day we were walking through the town and there was so much sidewalk construction going on and we were like, what is new? Like, is this like something that happens every year? Like, I've never seen this before. And the answer was literally there was just one obsessed man who was making this an issue. He was not going to rest until this is resolved. There were like even stretches of town that never had paved sidewalks before that were now getting paved because this one man made it his business. So yeah, I mean, probably he's neurodivergent. So maybe the answer to America's problems is to make sure that every town has somebody who is obsessive enough to like make it their business to fix that shit. Otherwise, I don't see it getting fixed. Like there is a what is it? A street lamp? Not a street lamp. I don't know what you call it, but what is it called when it's a lamp over the highway? Is it still called a street lamp?
I'm not really sure, but we'll go a street lamp because
But
it is.
you know what I mean, right? You're driving on the highway and
Yeah,
there's something
yeah.
that illuminates
I
the
mean,
highway.
yeah, I
But
mean, yeah.
Street lights? Do they call
sure.
them
Yeah,
lights instead of lamps on a highway?
lights, lamps, I don't know, but either way,
Whatever, but
But
everybody knows what I'm
they're not
saying,
over
right?
the streets. Yeah, I'm
just public
infuriated
illumination
here. I'm
anyways.
outraged.
Public illumination. And for literally more than 4 years, the lights off of our exit have been dark. And nobody can explain why. Nobody knows whose responsibility it is to like fix it. So yeah, there are things that are just mysteriously not functional. Even
That's
though
a big.
luckily there haven't been like terrible accidents because I guess people try to keep the headlamps in their cars working. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to push back on the concept that the United States needs better infrastructure. We keep hearing about like train derailments, which is scary. We all knew it was coming. Amtrak's not profitable. Although I will push back earnestly against the idea that New York is the only cool place in America. New York has pros and cons like every other city. Um, there are many
I'm just
nice
I'm
corners
New
of the United States.
I'm New York centric, but I've been to a lot of places in America, and I do love, like, I love Austin, I love Seattle, I love
Yeah,
Portland, I love San Diego.
we have
There are actually
little
like
like
the
nooks and crannies that are charming for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
most of Chicago I love. Chicago's a really cool city.
so much
Milwaukee's
cleaner
actually
too.
cool. What is?
Yeah. So much cleaner too, Chicago, just because it spreads out over more land.
Yeah, and it's designed, it's like it's the modern city of North America, right? Because of the Great Chicago Fire. And they basically did what they did with the Haussmannization of Paris, where they leveled the entire city and rebuilt it.
Yeah,
Um, so But yeah, New York is my favorite city in like the world. But there's lots of cool places in America. I think people underestimate like the value of just traveling around America because the
Oh
culture
yeah.
is so different, right? So like Boston is nothing like New Orleans, and New Orleans is nothing like Portland, and Portland
Oh,
is
but
nothing
you already zoomed out
like
too much for
Philadelphia.
normal Americans, I think. I think that underappreciated is how different the culture is, even in New York, based on what block you're on. So just the amount of what is it called? Like ethnic pocketization. I don't know what the terminology would be, but
Diversity, I
it's
guess.
very siloed. I don't think I would call it diversity because it gives the impression that like the United States is like a true melting pot. I don't think that's the correct concept to be selling to people,
That's the word
although
we
they've
use in
done.
Canada.
I know that's what they told us in elementary school too, but I don't think it's an accurate descriptor because I mean we're all here, but we're not meshed together. Like there's not mutual understanding. I don't think that necessarily means that there's intolerance, but it's just like people don't know what the other people are like talking about or going through. There's enough of a cultural sort of divide, and I don't know. I would call it, I think, siloing. It's not a lack of friendliness. It's just there's too much going on all the time. And it's already like so overwhelming to keep up with people and keep them abreast of what's going on in different communities. So I don't blame anyone. I just think that it's a misconception to visualize the United States as a place where, you know, the cultures are functionally melding together. But yeah, I wouldn't sell New York as the only tolerable place in the United States. I will not push back against the need for better infrastructure.
I was being New York centric. There are lots of cool
I don't
places.
know.
I do agree that there are a lot of cool places. I travel a lot in America. So yeah, but the infrastructure thing sucks. The healthcare thing sucks. There's stuff that sucks about it. It's just I think there's just a lot more opportunity. There's still a lot more opportunity. So even if we want to get people to come to Canada, awesome. But like as a writer, I can't work for Vanity Fair in Canada. I can't work for Rolling Stone. I can't work for like all these like cool things like that. You basically have to be US based to have those types of
They don't have offices
opportunities.
in some Canadian city.
Not really. I mean, you have to be a pretty prominent writer to like be brought into to work with them. But if you're based in the US, you have the opportunity like from college, right? To go and get gigs at those types of places. They would never bring in entry level, I don't think, from Canada.
Although the gig stuff in college is also sort of gated by classism because traditionally the internships at those sort of cushy places, um, they're unpaid and it's all about like who you know a lot of the time. So, you know, it's a sort of illusion of meritocracy, but I hear you. I'm sure there are more barriers if you're not technically a citizen of the country.
I don't disagree.
Illusion of
I mean,
meritocracy. I
it's
need to change it in my space.
I don't disagree with you on that either. I mean, even in Canada where college isn't as expensive, I still had to work my way through college. Like I couldn't take an unpaid internship for like 4 months. That was laughable. Like my family didn't have
Yeah.
that type of money to be like, yeah, we're just gonna float you through these free paid gigs for the next 4 years while you're in college. Like, so when I graduated, I didn't have any professional experience because I couldn't take those internships because I had to work 2 jobs in the
No,
summer.
literally, there was like, you know, sometimes those application, what do you call them? Like those periods where you're just submitting applications crazily. There was I think maybe third or second year of college, I can't remember. I was going through that myself. And one time I got an email saying like, congratulations, you've been accepted to this like prestigious internship, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that I think like part of me assumed that they would cover costs for relocation because if it was so fucking far away. But literally, I had been accepted to a prestigious internship in the country of Belgium where they would cover zero costs for like like
Like
plane
who
fare,
can take
lodging,
those?
what? It was
Yeah,
just
like
ridiculous. I was like, what would make you think? But I realized like, oh, this must just be like how the school had created its relationships with these institutions because probably a large proportion of the student body could afford to take those internships. But I was just like, this is so fucked up. Like it wasn't something that I was hanging my hopes on, so it was like a surprise for me. So I was just like not that affected. But looking back, that's really screwed up. Like there shouldn't be a situation where somebody is accepted accidentally to an overseas internship where their costs are not covered, um, and feel like, it's their fault that they can't take it.
I feel like you even see it into your adult life though. So even after college and stuff, I would see people like buying condos, and I would see people that were single and living alone in apartments in Vancouver that were over $2,000 a month rent in entry level jobs. Like I was like I realized I realized like how many people live with, like, they live on their parents' money. Like it's almost impossible to live in an urban center now in North America as a single person and like not be living off your parents' money. And the people that are spending a lot, like a significant portion of their income on living expenses.
That's true. And that is why there has been a sort of micro movement of people who do live on their parents' money or some sort of inheritance or fund, for them to publicize exactly what they inherited and what they get paid in their day jobs. But I think that they're very brave and also are very clearly countercultural. Like they're doing that on purpose. They know that it grates on people. They know it's not normal. The norm is, I think, still very much like not talking about money.
Yeah. I mean, is that the case everywhere else? People don't talk about money?
I think people can talk about money, but it's still sort of one of the forbidden topics over dinner, like unless you're with friends who are super close. Like the forbidden topics are what? Like money, politics, religion, maybe sex, like there are
NFTs.
NFTs, crypto,
That maybe falls into the money category.
Circle.
mental health.
Tether.
Don't mention that one.
You become that guy if you talk
Yeah.
about like anything to do with NFTs or
So
crypto
basically
around
anything
normies.
interesting, you're not allowed to say anything interesting.
It's like, look, we don't talk about Tether at the dinner table, okay?
Or even AI. Like, I'm not supposed to talk to my niece and nephew about AI because my sister doesn't understand what it is. I'm like, oh my God, you realize how much further ahead they'd be if you just let me like let them play with AI when they're 7 or 8 years old.
You don't
What are,
understand.
what are
It's
they
the next
afraid of?
calculator.
I have no
Yeah, AI
idea.
is now like the TI-89, right?
No, they're just afraid of anything that's not like a linear kind of um like just like a linear trajectory in life, I think. So they think their kids are going to go to college. I'm like, if your kid's entering kindergarten right now, it's not going to college. Like
Yeah.
that's not the education system that'll exist. They think they're going to get a driver's license and need to get a car. I'm like, by the time your kids are 16, there's going to be self-driving vehicles. They're not going to ever need to learn how to drive a car. Like, it's just preposterous, like how crazy these people like are. They're living in the dark ages.
I mean, you never know. The future is not evenly distributed. We've had self-driving cars for a while. I mean, it could take a long time to get, more distributed, for sure. But yeah, I mean, the future will not be the same as the one that we grew up in at all.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they have blinders on, that they're not thinking about it at all. That's not even a possibility, that like these kids are going to have the same type of kind of growth trajectory that we had. And it's just not true. I mean, a kid that's going into kindergarten right now, when they're 18 years old, 90% of the careers that exist right now aren't going to exist. So that's like people's decisions to go to college is going to be really different because education is going to be so democratized. There's going to be so many things that are different, and I think it's like, I don't know, I think it's healthy for um I don't know, just to keep kids updated on what's going on with these types of tools and teach them, like, instead of being afraid of them.
I don't think the elite school system is going anywhere anytime soon. I think that the top schools are far too well endowed to just disappear or evaporate. and they have too much of a vested interest in, upkeeping that idea of whatever it is, privilege or merit or whatever the fuck it is. But um, for sure, I think education for the majority of people will change a lot. I just don't think that it will it will meaningfully change for like the upper crust of society in the United States very quickly for just because the in like the idea that some of the top universities are essentially hedge funds with a school attached, I subscribe to that view as well because there's just a mind-boggling amount of money in those endowments.
Gladwell went to I think he was at Harvard, and he was like, you know what, Harvard, if you were really interested in education, he'd let go a few $1 billion from that endowment fund. You're not interested in education. Fuck you guys.
They would just make like 50 more Harvards, but they won't because that will degrade their like idea of supply and demand and
Uh-huh.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they could because they have so much fucking money.
Didn't Harvard introduce, I don't know if it was Harvard, it was one of the Ivies that introduced a new policy where students that have parents that make less than $150,000 combined or something could get a full ride?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
several of the
Whoa.
universities for years now have had that. Yeah, I think the demarcation point is like around 150K per household. But, that's so little. Like when you think about the total number of kids going to the top schools in the US, like the US has more than probably like 3,500 colleges and universities. The only ones that people bother to talk about are like the top 50. And all of them combined don't have enough people to make a big enough impact on like the greater education system. It's all like politics. So I don't know. I hope
Well,
it'll make a difference, but I don't
it's kind of
see it
like
making.
our caste system.
It is our caste system. It's yucky, but everybody's forced to participate in it. I hope that changes for sure, but it's very bleak because, and man, I need to sound more positive. It's like a Saturday night.
You'll
But
sound
like,
more positive when you get the blockchain thing figured out.
we'll sound more positive when education stops being so fucked up in America. But yeah, um, I hope it'll change, but it hasn't meaningfully changed in a very long time. Canada's better because even the top schools in Canada are relatively very affordable, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went to UBC. If you look at like
I didn't think Canada had top schools. Did they,
it's
Michael?
How dare you, sir?
I mean, you have some house
Michael,
names.
Mike lives probably closest to one of the best universities in the world.
Yeah.
University of Toronto is one of the best universities in the world. And I went to UBC, which is on like one of the top 40 schools in the world. Like it ranks probably on par, I think, with NYU. And
I,
my entire
I
degree cost, I think, about $30,000.
went to U of T 20 years ago. It was 15 grand a semester, 3 semesters a year. So about, 5 grand a semester, 15 grand a year, 4 years plus a co-op. So it was around 60 grand. I'm maybe half an hour away from Waterloo, which, has a lot of developers. That's where Chamath came from. That's where Vitalik came from. I think Changpeng from Binance, he went to UBC now, right?
No one's mentioned McGill yet. That's another huge name, right?
McGill is huge. One of the
Yeah,
most successful
That's
young
like
people I know
literally the
went to
most
McGill.
famous Canadian school, and then there's
Uh-huh.
at least one university in Vancouver. There has to be.
My wifey went to
that's UBC.
Queens.
UBC and University of Toronto are like the and I believe McGill. I don't think McGill's on the top 40 anymore, but University of Toronto and UBC. So UBC is the University of British Columbia. It's in Vancouver.
Oh, I
Um,
see. Yes, that's the one I must have been thinking of, but I
Yeah.
yeah,
didn't put the two
Elon
together.
I
Elon
actually.
went to Queens in Kingston.
Oh yeah, he did. McGill's a
Is
really.
that the one that Anne of Green Gables went to? Is that the same one?
I
My
don't.
wifey went there. She's smarter than me. They talk about U of T, but I think Queens is like low key
I'm blown away that
dynamism.
some schools have surpassed McGill. That's the one that everybody was talking about.
Yeah, McGill's not even in the top 40 or 50 anymore. I don't think. University of Toronto and UBC still are though.
What happened to McGill? What do you think caused the whatever fallout?
I think that you get your rankings based on research and outcomes or something like that. So maybe their output hasn't been great lately. But they are one of the top 3 schools in Canada though.
Okay, I feel better because I
I,
was pretty sure that was like one of the top schools in Canada.
Yeah. But like
I
the top school in Canada is University of Toronto.
I've heard
Gotcha.
from sorry, I was just gonna say I've heard from like someone at my local university that I went to, and there's like real pressure on them to just write as many like journal articles as they can and try and get published in that, but then that can come at the expense of like them supporting their students and doing the lecturing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but when you have good teaching assistants, they teach better than the professors.
true. Yeah, the last paper I did, which was through my work, like the the actual lecturer, like the professor, he was like, it was terrible that but it was like the teaching assistant like knew more than he did, But yeah.
But I was allowed to like write the questions for the exams when I was TAing. But at the same time, it was like, yo, it's an awesome opportunity to learn. Like, the less the professor wants to do, yo, let me do everything. I was hungry for that experience.
As long as you're not one of those abusive TAs who pressures kids to pay for your drinks or food in exchange for extra problem sessions. I had some of those TAs. I was
I
like,
was
what is wrong with you people?
I was afraid that students, it was written exams for international management. And so I had to mark all of these booklets. And I was always afraid that students would come at me saying, "Hey, I wrote this answer and you gave me this." And, but my friend wrote this answer and they got more. So I was like really paranoid about making sure that my marking rubric was solid so that nobody would come back at me and complain.
I would be super paranoid about that. I also really wouldn't want to read like 100
Oh,
undergrad
it's
like
the
for
worst.
first year essays. Oh
I
my god.
Let me tell you how I fucked myself. So I'm like writing all these questions and they're complicated and they have long answers. And then my stupid ass forgot that I had to mark these things. So now I'm sitting at work after work, like at 7 o'clock with a stack full. And you ever like have so much of the same thing to do? You start like planning out like, okay, if I do 3 of these every half an hour and I take a 15-minute break, that means that I can leave here at 5 a.m. kind of thing.
I remember one time it was an econometrics paper, and the lecturer purposely tried to make like it was like multi-choice, and it was like I don't know, half year test or something, and it was like yeah, multi-choice, and made it ridiculously hard. And I was actually getting tutored from like this other guy in the class, so I was paying him some money because he was like the genius in the class, right? And then I ended up like getting more than him on this multi-choice quiz. Only just, but literally I was guessing half of them. So I don't know.
I remember I had some like really brilliant friends who could learn just by listening. And so I studied my ass off for the sociology exam. And my buddy came up to me and he said, "Yo, man, I haven't studied." And I'm like, "Dude, it's like an hour and a half till the exam." And he says, "You mind if you just study out loud and I'll just listen?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he beat me on the exam. I'm like, I couldn't even hate on him. I'm like, that's impressive. You just listen to me sitting on this couch? All right, you win. Now he's like a detective.
Some people have weird superpowers. There was a kid in high
And
school who was high all the time. Like, we never saw him sober in all 4 years. But he was also high on the day he took his board exams. But he got it perfect. Nobody could figure it out. He never studied. There are just some of these kids who do this.
When I was at Santa Cruz, I took a psychology class and we learned about state dependent learning. Like if you listen to classical music when you're studying for an exam, you're more likely to reproduce that information if you're listening to classical music. And we were so baked in class that day that we decided we just needed to be high every day in class then for the rest of the semester.
Oh my
and then
god.
take the final exam in the same state, right? We were just sort of doing the applied psychology at the same time.
I hadn't tried drugs or alcohol in high school. I didn't try anything until I was like in my 20s. But in high school, I think by the time I finished grade 12, I had missed like 40 days or something of my senior year, 40, 50 days. Like I never went to class. And I was second in line for valedictorian and had a 4.0. But I just showed up for exams and wrote the essays. So I was one of those kids you hate.
We had a plan by about second year where we were like, all right, none of us really want to go to class, so we're going to split up the class. Whoever likes whatever subject, your job is to teach everyone else. Because we all had to work because it got really expensive. So we're like, all right, we got to chop this up. We only have 1 day a week to go to school, so pick your best subject and teach everyone else. And then we found out that we could buy past exams from the Sri Lankans. And so the Sri Lankans were selling like the management accounting exams for like $20 for 10, and we just used to memorize the multiple choice. So yeah, there's your prestigious University of Toronto.
I just don't know what the system is in Canada, but in the US, we have a very wide range of quality in education. And also the differences between public schools and private schools and homeschooling and other kinds of schooling, like parochial schooling. And I think one of the biggest failures of the university systems is that there is very little handholding when it comes to like the culture shock of suddenly being thrown together with all these kids from different backgrounds. And usually the focus is on people's like skin color or their inherited like culture, like ethnic culture, instead of sort of in some ways the more universal differences between, being publicly schooled, prep schooled, and homeschooled, that kind of thing. And like
I can see that.
so yeah, so like the way that you interact with teachers in public schools versus private schools, there is a very big difference in my experience. And nobody told us about this. You're just supposed to bump things around and get bruised and battered and find out through
It's
experience.
not it's not like that in Canada. Public and private education are very similar. You basically only send your kids to private school to like for nepotism reasons.
I remember some of my friends though, they had like a different pedigree. And so like when we were in business class, they seemed to already know the language. And I was like, what the fuck do any of these words mean? But they seemed to know them already. And I was like, I'm the dumbest person in this class now.
I had
They,
the same
they,
experience. Yeah.
What do you mean the language? Is it just vocabulary or is it more political?
Yes, the diction. So there was all this diction around business like supply and demand and interest rates. And everyone seemed to already know what those words meant.
it's like
It just sounds like you needed to take AP Econ.
but they likely grew up with like a wealthy family and a wealthy
Yeah,
they
my
understands finances and talks to their kids about finances and
one of
entrepreneurship.
my friends, his mom was a professor of economics. We used to go to his house to study. So it was like the people who had like even down to the cars in the parking lots. Some of the kids had better cars than the professors. Like my friend had a Mercedes S500. I'm like, you're already living the life. What are you doing here for?
I think that spot on, September. A lot of them have grown up, and I remember like someone in my class, I had the same thing where it was like, because I was doing economics, I'm like, how did people already know these concepts? Or, and maybe they've grown up with parents, so they've been surrounded by that environment who are like business, working in business, what have you. Or they've gone to a school where they actually had some management classes at the school, maybe a private school. And I remember one time it was a girl I was in class with, and she's saying, I was like, what are you doing for your elective? And she's like, oh, she'd done a computer programming paper. And she's like, oh, it's crazy. Like some of the people in there, it's like the first day and they already know how to code, So it's like, and this was like, I don't know, 10
It's
years ago.
intimidating. So you
Yeah,
just stay
Yeah.
quiet. Yeah.
yeah, I think I was
It
just
will never even out. There was even when I was in high school, there were kids from a different part, I guess, of state or something where they had transferred, probably from like a richer place, I guess, because this person was in ninth grade or the first year of high school, and he already had a stock portfolio. And we were like, what? And he had received as like his bar mitzvah present 10K to play with from his rich uncle, because his uncle was of the opinion that any boys in their family would need to be familiar with the stock market and trading starting from the age of 13. So
Yeah.
how are you supposed to compete with that shit?
Yeah,
I think
normal people that were like poor or like lower middle class, like my family was, they just had jobs and saved for retirement and had like a portfolio manager at the bank making sure that they were putting their money in safe dividend stocks. Like we don't know anything. We didn't know anything about finance. And so when I was talking about like the business stuff, I don't think we necessarily learn those in private schools and private high schools in Canada, because none of my friends that went to private schools here in like fancy Vancouver, like West Vancouver and stuff, took business classes, but their parents were business people. So I think that they understood like finance and entrepreneurship and business quite young because they just grew up around it. It was the difference between, it blew my mind to read like Rich Dad Poor Dad, because it's just a different way of teaching kids, right? At home, like you teach them a different mindset. Oh, you want to go buy a bag? Find a way to make the money to buy that bag, not here's an allowance. Here's the $10 you get a week for doing nothing. Like, um, so I think it's just different money mindsets and different conversations happening around kids in those types of homes.
I've got a funny story. So one of the papers I did at uni when I first started was like a political science paper. And my parents were farmers, right? But my dad had kind of like a passing interest. He was more like conservative, right? But we had like books on the shelf, like, the problems with socialism or something like that. And anyway, I was home for the holiday. I'm like, oh, I've got to write this lecture, write this essay about like socialism and something else. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll help you write it. And like, and he thought, oh, this sounds good. And like, I got a terrible grade for that essay that he helped me write. I think I like, you know, borderline passed it. But yeah, like I didn't have the parents that knew about these things. And I also went to a school where I didn't really get good advice. Like, I realized it's like, oh, I quite like economics, so I'll make that my major. And then I found in, was it second year or something? It's like, oh, I have to know calculus. And it's like, I wish someone had told me that because I didn't even take calculus at school. So I kind of had to learn that. Uh, Luckily, it was only like basic calculus. It didn't get too complicated, but yeah, I don't know. Like you don't. The school I went to was like, I don't. It wasn't really preparing me for uni, I found.
Well, you made it. You survived.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think it's kind of a good experience. I kind of feel sorry for these kids on Twitter at the moment because they're hearing from basically these grifters like, you don't have to go to university. You've got ChatGPT, and you can do that. And okay, or you can go on YouTube and start a channel. Yes, you can do those things, but there's a lot of people who try to go and, make it online and don't end up making it. And yeah, if you have a degree, it's kind of like a backup. And there still is that, for better or worse, there is that, what do you call it? Like almost snobbery or whatever when it comes to HR departments about people with degrees. You know, I think it's still important to have, especially if you're in something like science, you actually need more than a degree these days. So it's just the way it is.
Mentos, you had your hand up.
Oh yeah, thanks. I'm half here. I'm working on catchphrases now for this website. Um, and it's fun. I've been thinking a lot lately. I'm doing a workshop in just under 2 weeks, and I'm freaking out about it. But one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to design activities because I want these workshops to be participant led, like really hands-on, immersive, engaging activities that trigger all 5 neurochemicals in the acronym I know, or the whatever it's called, so you remember things. A dose, which is adrenaline, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. So I've been using a dose, that idea of these 5 neurochemicals, when talking with ChatGPT about making this workshop and trying to engineer the workshop so that it has activities that actually trigger all 5 of these. So today I'm working on catchphrases for the website, and I think I've got it to understand um, like what I mean, that I want like catchphrases that trigger all 5 of those neurochemicals, and it's come up with some pretty banger like catchphrases as a result. Like,
Have
you
you
know,
seen the flow genome matrix? The work by Kotler and Wheeler?
have I? No.
Yeah, I put a diagram of it to the top.
Or have I?
Yeah, I put a diagram at the top where they talk about getting into flow states, and they showed the different neurotransmitters and brainwave states at each of the phases, from struggle to release to flow to the whole 9 yards.
Is this the same flow as the book by the guy whose name I can't
Yeah,
pronounce? Csikszentmihalyi.
Csikszentmihalyi.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Great
Yeah.
book.
I know a flow state. I've never heard of a flow genome matrix, though. That's interesting.
Yeah. So Kotler and Wheeler, they extended the research, and they were like, you ever see people do transcranial direct stimulation to improve their chess playing on YouTube, where they knock out their prefrontal cortex with a couple electrodes
Does
to
that
put them in
involve
flow?
zapping your brain with electricity?
Yep, exactly. And
I
so
have
what they
seen
did,
people do that. Those people are nuts. But
people
yeah.
do that to play. Yeah. So what they did is they found that it helped snipers
I'm all
in the
for it.
army. Yeah, and they learned that they could have snipers learn faster by knocking out their prefrontal cortex and then having them do sniper training.
Are there no side effects to this?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I think they turn into Born
There,
Identity.
there are no known side effects because it's so new, right? That's the beautiful thing about all these things. They're
No, this
experimenting
is
with
like
stuff.
at least 10 years old. People were doing this 10 years ago.
No, that's just my pat answer when people start like just plugging shit into their brains and injecting the whole world with virus vaccinations and shit.
We're
Like,
not.
Uh,
We're
we'll find it.
like things like beauty trends. Oh my god. Like the lip injections and the tattooed brows and all of that stuff. I wonder what it's all going to look like in 10, 20, 30 years. Like how it's going to change our faces and our features, and I don't know.
The lip injections are always triggering for me.
I
I didn't
yeah,
realize
so,
how
so
common it was. People just get it done, and it's not like they tell you. So it's probably like way more common than
Mm,
we think now.
I don't know what happens, but they all tend to look the same after a while, and it looks kind of terrible, to be
I
honest.
think
So
I think Little Kim and Madonna, I think, are the ones I think about.
No, but I'm telling you, I think it's more that it's much more common than we think it is because people don't discuss it. It's not like a point of pride to get
Oh,
treatments done yet. And then there's also the fact that if it comes out well, you cannot tell. Whereas the only examples that you think of are the ones that went poorly because they're the
uh-huh.
ones that stick out, you know?
It's like the opposite of survivorship bias.
Exactly.
So
You only notice the fucked up results.
the outliers. Nicholas Nassim Taleb. Crazy.
they had something on 60 Minutes, on my local 60 Minutes, and it was like people who got it. It turned out like what they thought would, I don't know, dissolve over time or something was like staying in the lip, and it was causing like these granules to form. I think they call them
Hmm.
granules, something like that. But
Yeah,
it didn't look too good.
yeah. looks like to me it looks like a really inflated balloon because like the lip kind of like like the lippiness of the lip gets like smoothed away.
Yeah, like the little creases in the lip will
Yeah,
completely disappear. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like Jessica Rabbit kind of thing.
Well,
Which
Mike,
which I guess can be sexy, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mike, I have to say the catchphrases it came up with from Flow Genome Matrix are pretty fire.
Amazing.
You want to hear these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gamify your learning journey. Unlock your potential with Atman Academy. Experience the power of mindful learning. Explore the frontiers of emerging technology and transform your learning experience.
I wonder if you can do
What's mindless learning?
Mindful learning?
No, I'm playing devil's advocate. What's mindless learning?
Well, for only $99 a month, you can subscribe to my email list, and I'll send you a weekly newsletter that explains it.
It's really email full learning.
Wait, what did you use to generate those mentees? Because I have to come up with positioning statements and vision statements all the time.
I'm using ChatGPT. I just
ChatGPT?
Yeah, so here's some of the ones, like, for example, here are the top 5 catchphrases that trigger all 5 neurochemicals. Maximize your mind, unleash your potential. Maximize creates a sense of urgency and excitement and triggers adrenaline. Unleash implies a reward for achieving one's full potential and triggers dopamine. Like, it just goes on, like it's like drilling right into the science of how
Can
to.
you ask it to write a phrase that would induce theta nested gamma oscillations?
Does that mean peace?
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah,
How about the top
I-
5?
I'm not sure those sort of phrases work anymore. Just because it's so kind of common, you know.
you'd
Like
have to pass the
maximize
just
your
noticeable difference. Oscillations.
like if you want to come up with good catchphrases today, they kind of have to be, I don't know, pithy and like make people think or something.
You never know.
Mike,
I'm not sure what
Uh-huh.
the catchphrase is. Do you mean like a
can you
motto?
tell me what that was so I can finish? I'm sitting here
Sure.
trying to finish the prompt.
So it's theta, so THETA.
Mate, just say it again. I heard you fine.
Theta nested gamma oscillations.
Thank you.
Oh crap! I need to go to bed, you guys. I had just found out I have to be in Seattle at 9 a.m. So that's fun.
Good night.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
All
meeting you
right,
too.
enjoy the music.
Have fun, guys. I'm so excited to input the rest
But
of those chords. I'll share it with you when I get it done.
team, I'm happy to do a consult with you and help you write up some copy.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay, thank you, Mentis. Okay, it's been fun, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Nice to meet
All
you
right,
all.
here's what I got for you. Unprotected education. Experience the power of learning. Learn faster and retain more with our innovative approach. Gamify your education and level up your skills, and explore the metaverse and expand your mind. Those are pretty good.
Nice. It softened it, yeah.
Theta nested gamma oscillations are a specific pattern of brain activity associated with focused attention and learning. Here are 5 catchphrases that may induce this pattern. Thank you very much.
Okay, now ask it phrases that will induce world peace.
Well, can you ask it to make sarcastic ones?
Mentis is like, why am I suddenly doing this?
No, I'm still working on putting those in the Google Doc for my wife. All right, here's the top 5 that will induce world peace. Empowering people to make positive change, learn to connect with others through shared experiences, expanding consciousness and building a better world, discover the power of community and collaboration, or unlock your true potential to make a difference in the world. No, it's not going to sell. World peace doesn't sell.
It's not bad, but it sounds like everything.
Yeah. No, Dan was right though. Not gonna lie.
Okay, I asked it to write sarcastic ones.
Oh,
Who needs clean air and water when we can have more disposable plastic? Oh
That's
no,
awesome.
global warming. Nah, it's just Mother Nature going through menopause. What?
One thing that I heard more recently, like in the past 6 months, that's kind of a downer is those bags that are canvas bags and cheap and like it's supposed to replace plastic bags. Apparently, they need to be used like thousands of times each to offset the environmental burden of creating one. I don't know how accurate that calculation is, but if they are near the truth, then that's pretty sad.
so I said, I told it, out of everything you've suggested so far, which will most likely drive a call to action and further engagement? And it totally pushed back and it was like, oh, it's difficult to determine the strategies that'll drive engagement. And I was like, just guess. I literally just typed, just guess. And it was like, oh, well, based on the principles of neuromarketing and copywriting, catchphrases that are brief, attention grabbing, and aligned with the brand's value proposition and audience needs are more likely to drive a CTA and further engagement. I'm like, why couldn't you just fucking done that the first time? It said some of the catchphrases mentioned earlier, such as empower your mind in the metaverse and learn Web3 the fun way, are examples of effective phrases that could prompt potential customers to take action. However, without extensive testing and feedback from the target audience, it's difficult to predict with certainty which will drive engagement. Sounds like I need to do some A/B testing.
Yeah, kind of reminds me if there was like a Python programming book where the author titled it "Learn Python the Hard Way." So you know how there's like a plethora of books called like "Learn Python the Easy Way," because he called it "Learn Python the Hard Way,"
I
and
like it.
I think his approach was like basically type out what I'm typing out on the screen and you'll pick it up, sort of
Oh,
thing. But anyway,
so
he sold millions of copies. It's like ultra successful book basically from the title, you know.
so Mendes, maybe you can do this. Um, what if you said that the titles that it suggested thus far are titles being used by the competition, right? Five titles that pass the just noticeable difference threshold. The just noticeable difference threshold.
I got it, bro. Hang on. Let me get there. Yeah, I'm with you.
You can kind of play on other sayings, like let's say it's about the metaverse. I don't know. There's that
the
phrase
miniverse
like,
instead of the meta.
yeah, metaverse. Well, there's that phrase "minute to midnight." I don't know, minute to metaverse, or I don't know, something like that. I'm just
Okay, Mike.
spitballing here, but
One more time now. The past noticeable.
Sorry, the just noticeable difference. They call it the JND threshold.
Let's see what happens. Here are 5 possible catchphrases that would exceed the just noticeable difference threshold. I said, let's assume our competitors are using all these. What would be 5 that would exceed it? And it said, experience the future of learning today with Appman Academy. Join the revolution in emerging tech education with Appman Academy. Unlock your potential with Appman Academy's immersive learning experiences. Upgrade your mind with Appman Academy's cutting-edge curriculum. Discover a new paradigm in education with Appman Academy. We have our winners.
I like the paradigm one.
Yeah.
You slap on an infographic. Ooh, look, new configuration of nodes. It kind of looks like a Rorschach.
Mentis, you've sent me down a rabbit hole. I asked it to write 100 university mottos in Latin and Hebrew that will induce political will to action for world peace. And then it kind of stuttered after 20. So I was like, complete the list of 100, but add to the mix Greek, Arabic, Korean, and Japanese. And then it was skipping over pronunciation guides. So I was like, include pronunciation guides for each in American English. And it keeps stopping at around 20. So I feel like even ChatGPT is like, I'm bored. Please give me a different task.
Or maybe it needs more context, so it has like more things to inform the decision from.
I find if I add a target market, it'll start getting closer. Like a niche.
No, hey, Mike. So I said it just gave us those 5. I said, now let's assume our competitors are using all 5 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Can you possibly imagine 5 that would exceed these again? It tried. I don't know if they're better, but experience the future now with Atman Academy. Join the forefront of Web3 education with Atman Academy. Unlock your limitless potential. Empower you to lead the way in emerging technologies. Empowering you to lead the way in emerging technologies. Transform your career and life with Atman Academy. These catchphrases focus on innovation, leadership, empowerment, and transformation, and aim to differentiate Atman Academy from its competitors by highlighting its unique value proposition and ability to provide a transformative learning experience. Nice.
Can you add a target market to that, whether it's CEOs or high-powered salespeople or teachers, something like that?
Yep. So remember I had my B to A, B to B,
Mm-hmm.
and B to C. So now I've had it rewrite those catchphrases for each of those. So B to B would probably be revolutionize your business with Web3 solutions from Atman Academy. Upgrade your team's knowledge with custom Web3 education. Experience the future of business with Atman Academy's metaverse solutions. Partner with Atman Academy for cutting-edge Web3 development. Turn your business vision into reality with Atman Academy's custom solutions. So that's for B2B. And then B2C, which is business to community, is like level up your skills, dive into the metaverse, join the revolution, join the Web3 revolution, create your own reality with Atman Academy's metaverse solutions. Ooh. Nice. How about a CEO or CMO, CTO, or just C and any CX level?
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, pick a specific one. A CTO might be a good one. Or it could be a product officer. I wonder if it would know what that means.
Revolutionize your product with our cutting edge technology solutions, streamline your tech stack and drive innovation, maximize your product potential with expert tech guidance, partner with us to take your product to the next level, transform your product roadmap with our visionary tech strategies. These
I like that last one.
they appeal to their desire for innovation, optimization, and growth, and they position Atman Academy as a partner that can provide the expertise and guidance to help them achieve their goals. Cool. Yeah. Problem is, ChatGPT isn't showing conversation history. It's been a couple days now.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people were pretty upset about that.
Get over it. Just reinvent yourself. Don't be so precious. Consider it a beautiful opportunity to start over in your conversation with ChatGPT with greater knowledge of how to interact with it every time. Come on, people. You know what I'm saying? So. My wife's going to be like, what the hell? You've given me like 70 catchphrases.
All right, guys. 3:20 a.m. pumpkin time. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mike. I got a buddy's
Yeah.
birthday tonight. Sunday night. We have the day off tomorrow. So have a
Ciao.
good one. I'll see y'all soon.
All right, take
Thanks,
care.
Elf. Bye, Vinny. Bye, Luck.